Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Co-optional Podcast right here for E3 2017.
It's a thing. It's happening right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to report you
I'm definitely there.
to the local constabulary for dabbing in England, which is actually illegal under Theresa May's regime. No, don't do it.
I'm proud to
you'll be going away for a long time.
American. Do it, dudes. Keep it going.
This is insurgency is what this is at this point.
Yep.
E3, it's a thing that happened. It's actually kind of happening right now. The floor is open. The conferences, however, have pretty much already happened. And at least 3 of us endured pretty much all of them.
You know, after I missed like 2 and everyone said, wow, this has been really meh, I was like, I think I'm good. But I'm delighted to hear how you guys feel about it because I know that Jesse has been to a few of them personally.
He was in Bethesda Land, yes. And as for us, myself and Genna,
you guys snarked it out.
We did. We snarked our way through 5 conferences in this studio. We would have loved to have Genna in a separate window, not in my office, somewhere else.
I mean, that can happen.
But she's so cute.
That can happen.
Yeah.
But
It's looking fabulous.
Don't look at this. It's not here.
let me just say this. People often ask me for audio hardware recommendations. Can I give you an anti-recommendation here? This is the No Man's Sky of audio devices. In this case, No Woman's Working Audio. The Scarlett 2i2 interface is a piece of shit.
Garbage.
Can I make that
we
a...
all agree, yeah.
Because at least all of us have owned one at least
Every
once.
single one of us has thrown a Scarlet out.
Yes, they are terrible. And that is why we were delayed 15 minutes. That is why Jen has to be in my office, because we could have a choice. Camera or audio, not both. And then when we decided audio, it says, nah, you're not having that either.
This is my 3rd Scarlet, by the way, so...
Fool me 3 times, shame on us. We're done with that stupid thing. A disgrace! But it's okay. You're right back in the Creator Cave.
Is this the Creator Cave?
This is the Creator Cave. This is where all the creation happens.
I'm pretty scared in the Creator Cave, if I'm honest.
The Creator Cave is terrifying. I'll give you that.
Look, there's so many bathrobes you can put on.
It is true.
Yeah, why?
There's several.
They're just sitting there.
It's soundproofing. That's what it is.
Why isn't that on somebody?
It makes it easier to listen to your free audiobook that you can get from audible.com/cynical.
What?
Audible, our sponsor for today's show, with an unmatched, unrivaled selection of audio content, including audiobooks, audio shows, comedy news, and more. Head on over to audible.com/cynical for your free audiobook. We'll be giving you some book recommendations a little bit later on the show, of course. But this show is E3. This is actually all of E3. There's nothing else. They had to cut down budget this year.
It's over. It's all over.
It is. The first year in which they officially let the public in. And this is what happens.
What?
Nothing.
What happened? Wait, what happened?
This. All of
this?
Oh.
All of it.
This
Oh my
podcast?
This
is the result of people getting into E3?
Absolutely.
Wow.
I thought the Devolver Conference was the result of everyone getting into E3.
The Devolver Conference was quite the thing. I don't know if you call it was more of a parody on conferences than anything else.
That's the only conference I've been told to watch.
Oh god, I don't want to ruin it for you then, because it's more of a saga
It's
than
very
it is
special.
a conference, let's say.
It's like the 1:45 a.m. Cartoon Network version of a press
That's
conference.
what I would expect. That's what
It's
I
a
would
bit Adult Swim. It's very Adult
Yeah.
Swim, actually. They should team up for next year. That would be a complete mindfuck.
Yeah, I heard the whole pre-show thing was pretty wild. I was like, I don't know what that is, but
Well, technically,
All
the
right, Twitch.
conference lasted 10 hours. Technically. But the actual conference lasted about 18 minutes. But they said, this is the pre-show for our conference, but this is the conference. And now we're going to sit on a couch for 10 hours with Twitch people playing random Devolver games. That was
All
what
right.
happened.
Yeah.
So
Like you
like
like
you
you
do.
do.
Give him credit
Yeah.
for some degree of originality. It was something of a break from the other stuff. But today we're going to be spending pretty much the whole show talking about all the conferences, everything we have seen so far. And Dodger is going to be playing the role of Plucky Outsider, who is...
Oh my gosh, I missed all of the E3 conferences.
The role she was
Only
born
I
to
knew
play.
3 people who could tell me all about them.
But wait, you do!
Tell me more.
We will, over the next 3 hours. Shall we just start in chronological order? Let's dive right in the E3 EA conference. EA led off this year. And what
Barf.
a...
Sports.
Barf.
Oh, God, was it sports. Oh, my...
I took a swing. At what it could possibly
You took a
be.
swing and you... Right out of the park with a stick ball, or whatever it is
Yes.
they call it these. MLB Stickball 2018. I think that was the name of it.
Coming to you by E EA.
Indeed. The EA conference was...
Special.
So, there were several things about the EA conference that will become tropey, mockable, and we will remember for next year.
God damn it.
The first one being the Creator Cave, which they referenced repeatedly. They claimed that they were standing inside the Creator Cave. What is inside the Creator Cave?
Game changers, apparently.
Yes,
The Game Changers.
The Game Changers. Jesse, explain to us what the Game Changers
already-
are.
I'm already cringing.
Game Changers were sadly some of our friends who were probably not paid
no.
It's true.
who were probably not paid nearly enough to be there.
They
it was
were
basically
definitely not.
it was the con that was we don't have enough to show you, so we're gonna spend all this time focusing on streamers and influencers and oh yeah. So the
Oh, yeah.
the Game Changers, as they called them, were literally it's like, oh, I know that person and I know that person, and why are you there? Oh no, they
Because
must be
that
paying you a lot.
sweet cash.
Oh, no.
That
Yeah.
sweet EA money.
Ooh.
So that they put a lot of influence on
Hopefully.
influencers, and that didn't work out well at all. They had a presenter who I'm not familiar with, who apparently is, I guess, part of a prank channel of some description. Not one of the
Okay.
terrible ones. One of the, I think he isn't
There
his
are
first name Jesse?
non-terrible prank channels.
It's prank
Apparently.
v prank. It's the guy who
Yeah, prank
used
versus
to make
prank.
prank videos with his girlfriend, and then they broke up, and now
Right.
he's just like insufferable. That guy. So
He
Hey, yeah.
apparently could not read his teleprompter or just hadn't prepared because about 10 seconds in, he just went full on deer in the headlights. Giggled nervously, and the crowd nervously applauded in, I suppose, faux sympathy of some sort.
It was cringe.
Oh, no.
it
was
was super
This-
cringeworthy.
This whole thing sounds awful so
It
far.
was awful.
it was.
was awful.
Tell me more.
What you're seeing on the screen right now is they just did a flat out, for Battlefield 1, they just did a flat out, here is a bunch of streamers shilling for how good Battlefield 1 supposedly is.
It was 30 minutes. 30 minutes of them playing Battlefield 1, which is fine. It's all right. Oh, or 2, Battlefield 2. But
Battlefront.
visually, it's
You're
like
talking about. Hang on. Yeah, it's easy to get these confused, and I don't blame you.
wait,
this
were they
is-
playing Battlefield 1?
Well, Battlefield, they did the influencer bit was with Battlefield 1, where they had all the clips of streamers playing the game and screaming. Battlefront 2 came later in the show.
Fuck, I'm sorry. You're absolutely right. It's their naming
I know,
scheme.
it all sorts
I
of
wasn't
mushes
watching the
together.
stream. I tuned in. You're talking about the World War one, not the Star Wars Episode 1.
Right.
My problem.
Because both were cringe, but one was
For
definitely
different
more cringe
reasons.
than the other.
You're
For
absolutely right.
different reasons.
My fault.
Yeah. They interspersed the whole conference with sports, as you would
Right.
expect, in a way that they refused to confine it. They would not let it be contained. The sports spilled out onto everything else. As soon as you thought you'd escaped sports for a little bit with a different game, they went right back to sports, all the way up
But-
until the end.
Did they have a special guest speaker who was a sports ball person?
They
It wasn't a sports ball person
didn't.
this year. they had two guys
Yeah.
come on who were
They have like an ESPN show or something. I'm like, who?
It was apparently the two blokes in blazers or something.
Yeah, apparently they actually have a show.
Yeah,
they
like
do.
a football
on
show?
actual TV.
Very British. Yeah.
and
To
it
be
was
fair,
very like
they were the best presenters there.
yeah, it was super like kiddish and like they knew they were being silly and they did it
missed their own
purposely.
high fives.
I think they
Yeah,
did
like a
they did it on
purposely bad high
purpose, I'll
five.
give them that.
Yeah, absolutely. They knew why they were there and they were being silly, so at least they had fun with it. But
Yeah.
With world leaders like Will Ferrell being consulted on the matter of sports.
Yeah, I'm glad you remember that quote because the whole thing just mushed together for me. It's a vague blur. I think I'm trying to suppress it. And there was so much of it, and without Jen's the most knowledgeable person in this whole group about sports,
I
and
don't
even you were
know.
disinterested. Really,
It wasn't amazing.
no.
It's like, oh, here's this guy. We made him up. We're going to make you feel like you are him. And we're going to interview all these actual footballers and managers about this fake person that you are in the game. And it's just like one of those cringy moments where you're watching a movie and then you see like a real person playing themselves in a movie.
Right. Sure.
And I'm like, oh, no. No.
For the past few years, EA has been going full on with our sports game has to have a narrative story campaign mode. And
that's the new Madden.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Madden did it. NBA did it. I remember
NBA did it first.
Sam played a bunch of NBA with his custom mutated face character,
Oh, yeah.
didn't he? They didn't show any of
I will
that.
forever remember the saga of trying to get that system to recognize his face.
They didn't even mention that. I have to wonder if they're even going to do it this time. They may not. I think that would take
hope
all the
so,
fun out
because
of it.
it created some primo faces.
It will never get rid of the dead eyes that those games tend to have. I don't know.
Lots of sports footage with dead eyes. NBA in particular. LeBron James is apparently zombie LeBron James. LeBron James.
Sounds great, actually.
He eats the flesh of his enemies. That's my understanding. I don't know much about sports. I'm going to assume that I'm right on that, though.
Well,
That
he is in
is-
Cleveland.
Is Cleveland known for being particularly zombie infested? Do they eat
Human
the flesh
flesh
of
is
their enemies?
huge in Cleveland. That is a big.
I'm just
yeah.
saying, a lot of horror movies take place in Ohio for some reason. It's like, oh, Midwest? Oh, heck yeah. Zombies.
Well, nothing else interesting happens in the Midwest, does it? Really?
Corn.
True.
Corn grows
Valid point.
there. Yeah.
Running
about it.
through fields of corn.
Mm.
That's an election reference. Hey. I'm trying to make the EA conference interesting. I'm sorry, I can't do it. It's beyond my capabilities.
There was a few things that actually work kind of interest. One of them was a game that I really liked that would be super fun, I imagine, to play with another person, because that's the whole point, is A Way Out.
Yes, that was the highlight of the show. This game coming from the devs of Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons,
I was
which
gonna
obviously
say, it's the
perked my
people
ears
who
up.
made Brothers, right?
Yes, it is. And it looked pretty damn special.
It's basically the show Prison Break, but
Yeah.
you play with another person at the exact same time. So it's split screen couch co-op, and you have to work together to escape the prison and like stay on the run and stuff.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Dodger's already thinking, the money I can make with Sam with this one. And we're already thinking, the money I can make with Jen with this one. We'll have to stagger our playthroughs, make sure we don't overlap. The initial trailer for it that they showed was like, Then the guy got on stage, got very excited, claiming you could do everything, but not. That it was just, you know, that the nervous indie dev that's always on stage at the EA conference,
especially when English isn't their first language.
Yeah, this was that guy, except much more handsome than previous indie devs.
Oh yeah, that glorious developer hair.
He had a little cockiness too. He was like, "This game's going to blow your mind."
To be fair,
it's like, all right.
To be fair, you're involved in making the greatest game of all time, so I'm going to defer to you on that one. But it's the second trailer that they showed that was really intriguing, because then they showed this split-screen gameplay. You've got two different characters that could be in two different places at the same time, but time is running at the same time for both of these guys.
And like the adjustable, well, I don't know, it's not adjustable, but the
it
level
adjusts
of
dynamically.
Split screen, like, so if you're doing something a bit more important than your counterpart, it adjusts for that, which is, I thought, really cool.
Yes, it was very cool. They do both vertical and horizontal split screen whenever they feel the need to, and they change the size of it dynamically. Let's say both your characters are on the same screen, maybe during a sequence. Obviously, they don't feel the need to split the screen down the middle at that point. So they shrink that and they change it dynamically. And I was like, wow, that seems really cool. And I think coordinating the actions of these two people, working with somebody either on the couch or online, they said you can do both, but the split screen's always going to be there, even if you're playing online, because that's part of the presentation. Sounded really engaging to me.
I like that you can instigate a cutscene to keep someone occupied while someone else moves around behind you.
Does something, yes.
Which is pretty interesting.
Yeah, there's you can see it on the screen right now. One guy has a cutscene while the other guy's actually doing something dynamically. And I imagine you probably have to get there before the cutscene ends.
Absolutely.
So that gave me some Indigo Prophecy Fahrenheit vibes.
Exactly, yeah.
It looks excellent. Absolutely excellent. But something you pointed out, Jen, that I found very interesting is that EA usually has this token indie game that they bring on and say, hey, it's you know, we're going to pay for all this stuff and we just want to highlight you. And
yeah, so give us Faye.
Where the
Where
fuck is Faye? Last year, that lovely little game, Faye, with the pastel purple and everything, nowhere to be seen.
MIA.
Have they been...
True. That's true. I hadn't actually thought about that.
What do they call their thing? They had a program, right? They talked about it a little bit. The
Is
EA...
it just EA Creators, I thought?
Yeah,
like
that just
EA
died.
Originals,
I don't know
maybe.
what happened.
EA
with that.
Originals, possibly.
They're made in the Creator Cave.
Apparently, yeah. Then apparently the devs of Faye never escaped the Creator Cave because they're nowhere to be seen now. That was absolutely the highlight of this show, without a shadow of a doubt. But they did drop something that was like, what the hell are you only showing us 20 seconds of? And which we later discovered in the Microsoft conference. Why? BioWare's new IP, Anthem.
Right.
Got a 20-second cinematic trailer which explained nothing other than there's mechs and a wall.
Great.
But we'll talk about more of that in the Microsoft conference, because that's where they really showed the gameplay, because that was sort of the grand finale of the Microsoft conference. And, of course, the other big thing that we expected to see a lot more of, and Jen, I know...
Need for Speed.
Well...
that new Porsche, though. What?
It did...
No, that was Microsoft. That guy went to fucking the Microsoft conference.
Yeah. It's like, what?
It did happen. Yeah, they... Need for Speed... Payback?
Payback, I think, yeah.
It's like, well, we got the new BMW, and it's like, look, it's going to look sick, but it's fine because we got it back later. It's like much, much later.
We're not going to show it.
The next conference, it's just like, oh, but we got this Porsche 911, just like,
yeah.
Well, I don't know. It's like new BMW, new Porsche.
This is car porn that I don't understand.
Yep.
But
new year, new car porn.
Indeed. The game, I don't know about you, Jesse, but I was not impressed at all by what I saw out of this. Like, the fact that they dropped cutscenes in the middle of races was incredibly bothersome to me.
You didn't enjoy Fast and Furious, the video game? What?
I was not... Yeah, I hope that's for show kind of stuff, because literally every time a car hit anything, the game would slow and the camera would pan back to the car exploding behind you. And I was like, if I was driving, I would immediately crash into something after that happened. I'd be like, where the fuck am I pointing right now?
Yeah.
I hope that's just for show, because that was terrible.
Unfortunately,
that was terrible.
after the conference, they showed a live playthrough of basically the same thing, but with a guy that couldn't stay on the road.
Oh, that was amazing. Watching this guy drive, like
all the slowdowns were still there.
it was amazing. He needs to be a professional.
Cool.
Oh no.
I mean,
Like if you're doing a replay, then that's fine. Like if you want to replay it and go back, but while you're in the middle of playing a racing game, get the fuck out. That's terrible. What a terrible mechanic.
I mean, it was done in Burnout games previously, and it worked all right there. But I think in this case, they wildly overdid it, and combined with the cutscenes, the actual cutscenes that were in the middle of the race, that bothered me way too much. This is, to me, not what I would want from a Need for Speed game. You know, I want to trick out a shitty car with spoilers and neons and obnoxious bass sound systems.
That's the whole point. That's the whole point. And then
Drive
outrun cops. That's it. That's your life. That should be it. That's the point of those games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go make meth.
I mean, what else were you gonna do in your cool car?
Yeah.
Indeed.
I also enjoy how much, like in the gameplay trailer that we saw, it's like her hair goes one way as she's crawling up on top of a semi, but the wind is going that way, so the hair should go that, but it doesn't.
Yeah, but that girl can drive though. When she pops out the back of that, she's like, "I'm driving."
For speed. She's the one.
She
Apparently.
needed speed. She acquired
had
that
the need for
speed,
speed.
as
Jess was killing
required.
it.
Yeah, that didn't interest me in the slightest. Battlefront, though. We saw a bunch of that. There's
Probably
two.
more of it than you wanted to.
Yeah.
Of the multiplayer.
Let's just say the way
which
that
looks
they
exactly like
presented this was
Battlefront
probably
1.
not what we wanted. There are two people on this call who no doubt care an awful lot about this, that being Jen and Jesse. Jesse is shaking his head with
Here's
just
the thing.
exasperation.
I had to write down her name.
The Dominatrix who presented on stage.
Jania
Amazing.
Gavankar. I could watch her present anything because she like looked at the audience like they were shit. She was like, "Y'all don't even know. I'm up here about
see
to
it
blow your
now.
fucking."
It's so
Like she
true.
came up there and she was like, "Hello." I was like, "Oh my! All right then, tell
But
me what
did
you're
you
gonna
know
sell
that
me."
she was an advocate for in-depth
In-depth
cinema
cinema
quality
quality-
stories in video
Oh.
games?
That part, I just lost it.
One of the things, like, because I know, having followed her, because the minute they announced it at whatever the hell they announced it at, when they announced they were doing at Star
campaign.
Wars, the
That celebration.
Star Wars celebration, yeah.
in Orlando.
She was in the audience, and so she was tweeting out like how excited she was, and a bunch of people were retweeting her. And so I was following her like adventure on being like, "Oh my god, I'm in Star Wars," because I want to see the Inferno Squad stuff. I'm super hyped for the at least story mode part of this game.
That's what the rest of us were thinking, and that's what we're thinking. Well, they'll totally show us some of this, considering they have the
Not at all.
protagonist on stage.
Not at all. They brought her out. I was
No.
like, "Shit, yeah."
Nothing.
They brought out the main actress of the new story mode stuff. I was ready. I was like, "Yes, drop it on us." Nothing. And
Enjoy your multiplayer.
The crazy thing is because it takes place over many years. There's no spoiler stuff. Like nothing's gonna.
No.
Yeah, okay, we get what happens at Endor. Show us a cool thing at Endor. Like you already showed us a little bit that she's there, so let's see that. Nothing. And then to have her come out as a person who she genuinely reacted as a fan at the celebration, to have her come out and then be the person like, we all are really interested in high quality gaming experience. Like, no, they got you. They got you too. No, it was so sad. It was so sad. You're like, oh,
Someone drank
EA
the
got
Kool-Aid.
you. Yeah. And then rather than show us anything cool, they showed us 30 minutes of streamers playing the Battle of Theed, because
The
everyone
multiplayer.
wants to go back and relive episode 1. And we got to see
Droids.
clone troopers
Droids.
fight fucking droids, and then have people explain to us how tanks go into siege mode. Like, oh, well, in siege mode, it does more damage. No shit. It's always done more damage that way. That's how the fucking mechanic works in every game ever. We don't need an explanation of that. Like, oh,
And that your strategy should basically be just be Darth Maul.
Yes, that's how.
That's what I got from that.
It's a 2-point plan to win. 1, be Darth Maul. 2, don't not be Darth Maul. Apparently, because he was just murdering everybody. I cannot imagine what being on the receiving. Actually, I can imagine what being on the receiving end of that would be like, because I played Battlefront 1. That was exactly the same when anyone had a freaking hero that just murdered everybody. they were talking prior to it that they'd got the game creators.
Game changers.
The game changers, sorry. I keep getting mixed up with the Creator Cave. I'm sorry.
E3 terminology. It's a thing.
Oh, God. We need a buzzword to describe E3 terminology.
Cringe.
We need something a bit cleverer than that.
Basically, what they did is they kept the exact same thing as Battlefront 1, except they changed a few of the game mechanics around. But it looks just like
It looks
a little tweaked, like bumped up version of the first one, and now they added a story mode. And it's like, fuck,
Then
this
show
is
us some
like
of the
Destiny.
story mode.
Exactly.
This is Destiny 2.
The whole way that it played out was like, I am watching this footage, and if you didn't tell me that this wasn't Battlefront 1, and I was less familiar with it, I would not have known.
Until Ray showed up, and then maybe you might have known because
that character... actually, isn't Ray in Battlefront 1, like in the DLC? I can't remember.
Not now. No.
Oh, is she not? All right. Okay.
You can play as Nyun Nub, best sidekick to
Yep.
Lando Calrissian ever in 1-2 scenes in Return of the Jedi. He gets to go,
Snap.
oh. So that's a fucking thing. I can't believe that guy's in a fucking game. And we had to wait a year to get Ray. Fuck you, EA. Fuck you.
It was so bizarre to be sitting with an ardent Star Wars fan next to me who was obviously bored by what was happening.
the best part of the entire thing was my 501st Legion bros walking on stage in their stormtrooper outfits,
That
and
was pretty
I was
cool.
like, awesome, Legion's here, yay! And then it all went downhill from there.
Yeah.
Look, I still stand by the fact that girl was like, I was ready. I was like, I don't know what you're selling, lady, but you are forceful in it. I'm like, all right, then.
I will
The force
buy it
is
'cause
strong with her, apparently.
Yeah.
I don't feel I have a choice at this point. You will kill me if I don't.
She had that stare that was like, I will kill all of you. I was like, fuck, okay.
That is what you're into, I've heard.
Just murder. It's like, I will destroy
Just
you.
just crush me under your boot, and then we'll
All
move
right,
on.
I guess I have to. I guess I gotta let
Thigh-high
you.
jackboot.
I don't know why, but whenever a company decides part of our whole presentation is going to be streamers or YouTubers, I feel so weird about it. Like it's the laziest option they could have chosen.
Yes. That is 100% my initial reaction when they came out and they're like, here's the game changer this. And I saw that they had like, we have 30 or some insane number of streamers like right here, all ready to play this game.
39, apparently.
In the creative
was like-
In the Creator Cave.
It was like, I love streamers. I love to watch streamers. I love to watch press conferences.
Mhm.
I don't love to watch the two together. Like, and it's just
No.
stop. To me, it's the same thing. And then we'll talk about this when we get to Bethesda. I feel like EA and Bethesda didn't have enough to show, so they went about different strategies of how to like lengthen shit or
Spread
spend
that
their money,
butter.
their conference money.
Yeah.
And the budget for EA was, let's pay a bunch of streamers to come on and sell people a game that they should have bought the first time but didn't. And so like, hey, that guy who is playing Star Wars, you know, it wasn't great the first time,
somebody
but
I may have recognized
that guy on the
in
internet
some
thinks
way.
it's great now, so I totally should play it again. Like that's all that was.
Well,
Like, all right.
I mean, at that point, anyone whose name popped up on the stream as someone whose opinion I no longer value on Star Wars Battlefront 2, because you
You were paid to be there.
either you were paid to be there or you are a sucker to actually work for free, in which case, what the hell are you doing?
You
but
did it once too.
I learned my lesson a long time ago, and hey, I didn't do that for free. I got paid for that. But the issue really is that what value was there in streamers being there and watching them play the game? Because it's not like they injected their personalities into it. You didn't hear a peep
Right.
from any of them. The streamers were in pre-recorded segments to shill for Battlefield 1 and a bit of Battlefront 2 in the Game Changers little segment. But other than that, they were just fodder for playing this round of the game. So
But, like,
I didn't
yeah,
value it.
I'm so curious about the people, like, because I know that I watched vlogs that people had made where there's one that I saw that was like Matt, Pat, and PBG chilling out beforehand. I was like, there's no way you guys are there for free. So they clearly paid you, but like
Mhm.
they didn't then focus on you. So the whole thing in my mind is, what was the plan, EA? Like, get
Yeah.
the biggest
EA
names you
just
can
have a
get and
Why
then
are
not.
you throwing money at these people?
Yeah, like you just threw money at people expecting what? Like that they be on camera for a second and then it didn't make any sense. I don't know what they were thinking. It was crazy.
By the end of it, everyone was just sick of it, and weirdly,
I wanted it to go away.
well, yeah, and the thing is, the conference ended, but then it didn't.
No, because then we got to show you our gotcha game.
Yeah, they
and-
tossed it out to Galaxy of Heroes, which was obviously the dullest thing in the universe, and this was sort of an outside area with a booth where nobody was, which was, I found
Don't
that
you see
entertaining.
all these people really wanting to get into that conference?
Of course. I play Galaxy of Heroes, and I didn't care about that segment. I mean, I can't imagine what everyone else was feeling. And then they went back and did another bit of Need for Speed, and the whole thing just sort of, it just kept going to the point where once they got to showing us the Madden trailer for a third time and doing another interview, I was like, we're done. That's it. Like, I'm tuning out. There's nothing of value to be found here. It was just, it was a dull mess. You know? The Way Out was basically the only thing there that I cared about. They didn't convince me to care about Battlefront. They did the opposite, actually.
That tiny taste of Anthem.
20 seconds of Anthem.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was just dull.
So EA was mostly a wash.
It
Yeah,
was
pretty
absolutely.
much.
Unless you play sports games, in which case
I don't
maybe it
even
could
know
be
that.
for you.
Because they didn't show actual gameplay of any of the sports games. I don't know if the features that they showed were of value to sports fans.
That's absolutely true. They just showed like story mode stuff, which
Yeah.
I know most sports players don't give a shit about.
Yeah,
Mhm.
some people are like,
Yeah.
man, the journey. Who the fuck gives a shit about the journey? We don't care.
Yeah. I'm here to play season mode. I don't give a fuck.
It's like
Yeah.
the only
Yeah.
difference I saw, even in you're just reading about some of the updates, is like, oh, now weather is actually going to affect how you play.
Yeah.
Yay!
Yeah, so that was EA. So not a great start. let's be entirely frank about that, and I think
Right.
pretty much everybody agrees on that one. So let's move on to Microsoft, on the other hand, who actually had the longest conference of the
Yeah.
Big Five, as
How
it
long
were.
was it?
As
about
long as they're
n-
e-penis.
About, yeah, as long as the number of teraflops in a Scorpio.
But not
Now the
as-
Xbox X,
but now-
apparently.
But now they made the console smaller, so it's like, are they size queens or not? I can't tell.
Conflicting messages, Microsoft.
It very much was. But yeah, they had the longest conference. It was about 95 minutes, I think. And it was packed full of games.
Oh,
Mhm.
good.
40,
That was a
48
surprise.
Games?
They
That was a
claimed
genuine surprise because I thought it was going to
games.
be all about their new Xbox One X.
They opened with that, very much so.
Xbox.
The
X
Xbox X.
Sephiroth, Xbox.
Yes,
FF7,
Xbox
Yeah,
X.
the
X.
Sephiroth box.
Yeah.
Very much so in that regard. It was... obviously, it was packed. First things first, they opened up with the Scorpio saying, hey, this is what is going to be happening with this. This is when it's coming out. This is how much it's going to cost. It's going to be $499. And they talked a lot about specs, but not what that would allow you to do with it.
Right.
So it's just a smaller Xbox One.
No, it's a much more powerful. It is actually smaller, you're right, but it's a much more powerful version of the
Okay.
Xbox One. Far more powerful. I mean, it makes it the most powerful console on the market by a
Okay.
pretty significant margin, edging out the PS Pro quite handily.
Okay.
And they just said, it's going to work with all of your controllers and stuff. I'm like, well, of
Yeah.
course it is. It's going to play all your Xbox One games. Of course it is. That's the point. I guess it was just there to prevent people from being confused. Because this is a mid-generation upgrade. So I guess some people could have been confused that it would be just, oh, well, will my games work? Is this actually the new one? And the buzzword of this conference was...
Which one? They used innovation.
What was the
innovative-
drinking game that would have
iconic-
killed anybody?
Oh, I
4K! Oh.
Okay.
Oh, I
The
thought it was
amount of
console
4K.
exclusive.
Yeah, I know, right? Console exclusive. No, that's
Every
a Sony
single time.
conference.
22 games in a row, you're just like, we get it.
We get it.
Fuck.
Yeah.
We have exclusive games.
It's like Xbox and Windows 10 exclusive.
Yeah, everything was basically, they would say console exclusive or console launch exclusive, which means that it's also out on PC, which is totally fine for all of us, obviously. But it was really, they were going directly up against Sony. It was pretty obvious with that. And a lot of it was, hey, this is in 4K. Our stream isn't. so you can't see the benefit of it, but trust us, it's in 4K.
Right.
Shit. I mean,
Where do you
here's the
start with
thing.
that? There was
It
so
didn't
much.
look terrible. I think it's not something I ever intend to buy, but like,
I don't see a reason to own one.
yeah, it seemed like if you're a super Xbox fan and you need to have a 4K experience, go nuts. I don't think there's anything wrong with it, but it's not like anything I see the need to buy ever.
If you're, incidentally, it was only Twitch that didn't have the 4K stream. So Twitch, you need to get your shit together. Apparently, it's 4K on YouTube. But the machine itself, for if you're a PC owner, unless your PC is very much out of date and you've decided I'm done with the whole PC upgrade race, I just want to buy a $500 powerful box, which it is for the price. It won't be in a couple of years, but it is for the price. Then it's of no real value to you.
Unless you want that sweet, sweet Blu-ray player.
It does have a 4K Blu-ray player in it, which the PS4 Pro does not, which is so bizarre considering who fucking invented Blu-ray.
People still buy Blu-rays?
Yeah, I do wonder how many do, considering how pricey they are. It's,
Why?
The thing is that, I guess, for people that want a really good visual experience, now you can watch 4K Blu-rays on a very affordable box.
But without a 4K TV, then you're subject to super sampling.
Yeah, I mean, they try to emphasize, oh, if you don't have a 4K TV, it'll totally look better. But yeah, only by a very tiny amount. You know, super sampling doesn't do a great deal.
Right.
So after all of the wankery about how many billion transistors the bloody thing had, they kicked off with another Forza game.
Car porn.
Yep. Car porn, straight up, looks very similar to the previous one to me. It's that every high-fidelity racing game looks the same to me, I've got to be honest.
So we
Was
got a
there
new Porsche.
anything of note? Was there anything of note before Sea of Thieves?
There were
Shit.
some things, yes.
There were things, yeah. There were things. The first one that I can remember was the new Metro game.
Metro.
Which I was like,
that
we
was
didn't
surprising.
expect that. Yeah, that's not even going to be a console exclusive. That's going to be in PS4 as well. But they got a hold of it for the exclusive reveal. Looked great.
Yeah.
Both the previous Metro games are awesome. This one, it was a very scripted E3 style of demo. But we also know how Metro plays. It doesn't look like it's going to be much different to the previous ones, which is fine because I just wanted more Metro at this point. I'm glad that there's a new one coming. That looked pretty great.
Yeah, I was super in. I like I don't know. Do you think, is this like a story continuation kind of deal? Or because now you're leaving? Because
So-
it's Metro Exodus. Like, let's finally get out of Russia.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think they claimed that it was based on the book Metro 2035 rather than
Yeah.
Metro 2033. So I imagine it is an advancement of some sort. I'll be damned if I could remember a single character from the previous Metro games, I gotta admit. But yeah, I'm going to assume that's what it is. It looked really cool.
It did look really good.
All I remember from the last Metro is the really funny strip club you could go into.
Yeah.
You had a mission to go into there, and I was like, like literally there's a scene where you just have to watch a stripper. It's like, this isn't a game.
No,
Like, this isn't one of those like weird
none of
Easter
that.
eggs where you have to like, oh, look at me, I found a strip club. It's like you literally go there and meet her. Okay, you talk me into it. What a weird moment. It was great. It was so silly.
It was a little odd. Yeah, we both played the Metro games and really enjoyed them, so we're well in on this one. Then they threw Assassin's Creed at us.
Right.
Icons.
Yep, this one based in ancient Egypt.
I hear that
Witcher
they're
Creed.
trying to do more of like Assassin's Creed meets The Witcher.
It is
Yes.
Witcher Creed.
That is
100%.
Absolutely.
that is exactly
Yeah.
the impression that we got. Yes.
There is no Abstergo stuff, I don't believe. And apparently people were losing their mind that there wasn't a mini-map in the corner of the footage that was shown. They were like, this can't even be real. There's no mini-map. I was like, I don't know, guys. Maybe that's not how you're playing it this time.
Yeah, they've got a line up the top where
It's the Witcher line.
Is that because sorry, I didn't play Witcher 3 much,
And
so,
in Horizon, the same thing. Yeah.
so that's how they're doing it now, where it's
It's
just
also the Skyrim,
Far
Mhm.
Cry, like all of those open world games, they all have like the line now,
Yeah,
where you
yeah.
just
The
turn
go
and
this
you eventually
way
see the
line.
icon. Yeah.
yeah, the compass, I guess, is what you could probably call it a bit there. What we saw of the gameplay was you're absolutely on point where you're saying Witcher, it's got a loot system, because of course it is.
Witcher meets Far Cry Primal. Because
Yeah.
we have a bird.
We have a bird, yep. Year of the Drone continues with Bird Drone. That's in there as well. And there's a level up system and skill trees.
Yeah.
And the combat seemed a bit more like Witcher than previous Assassin's Creed games, which was a little more... I don't know, it's hard to... I always viewed it as an Arkham Light kind of system. Previous to that, it's hard to lose this fight. You just... As long as you press the right buttons. But they seem to have gone a bit more action-focused this time. Bit more Witcher-like. And I'm out of interest for Assassin's Creed. What do the rest of you think about that?
This is the first one I've been interested in since 2.
Like,
and it's because it's the least Assassin's Creedy Assassin. Maybe Black Flag. I like Black Flag because it wasn't very Assassin's Creedy. But then we later when we get to Ubi, we'll see what they did with that stuff.
Indeed,
So
yeah.
but yeah, it looks. I think because it's so witchery, I like the idea that doesn't have the time travel aspect of like, oh, you're doing it wrong. You're doing the mission wrong. If you don't do it the right way, we're gonna pull you out of it. Like, fuck you. Let me have fun. So
yeah,
we'll see.
They were
You get to
talking
climb
about
the pyramid.
True enough. It's called Origins. It's supposed to be the origins of the Assassin's Order and everything like that. So I guess a lot of the things that you would have been worried about in the other Assassin's Creed games don't really apply here. And Jen, you were saying that movement-wise, you've never really been a fan of the Assassin's Creed games.
No, I'm like, again, it's like kind of what Jesse said. It's like, you're doing it wrong. And I'm like, but I want to do it this way. It's like you're talking to someone who plays Dishonored games or Thief and stuff. It's like, I want to go here and I want to go there. No, you're doing it wrong. And so I hate that. So maybe this will be more for me, but I don't really have a whole lot to compare it to, because as soon as I saw how Assassin's Creed played and from previous games, I was like, oh, I'm so out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how much emphasis they put on the parkour and climb around the place aspects, because a lot of what I saw during that was, it's Ubisoft the game again. All of these things that are in all the other Ubisoft games are now in this one as well.
Open world skill trees, icons?
Icons, drones, look at the recon here, tag these guys, go do this. They're all sort of mushing together a wee bit.
Right.
Not particularly thrilling on, in my opinion anyway. They did a little bit of saying, hey, we're getting PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds on Xbox. Please stream on Mixer, at which point everyone's like, what the fuck is Mixer?
The mix pot?
The mix pot, yes.
What is it?
We don't know. We never
so
found out what the mix pot is.
It was born. The Game Changers created it in the creator cave.
Apparently. They said, ask us about the mix pot. Come join our mix pot. I'm like, that sounds like some weird erotic adults-only club, the mix pot.
You guys never figured out what it is?
No, I don't think we ever did find out what the mix pot is.
Because it was just like, well, if you couldn't get into the mix something, it was just like, well, we're doing it like all day during E3, and I'm like, what is that?
What is the
name?
mix pot?
Is that the name for your booth or like a walkthrough experience?
How does Mixpot work?
Tell us.
Sign into a Mixer account.
Yeah.
Beam was renamed Mixer.
Yeah, that's what Beam, their streaming service now is. Mixer.
Okay. Link your Mixer account to your Microsoft/Xbox Live account.
Okay.
And then that's it. Keep an eye out during the briefing as we announce digital goodies that come to you after the event.
So that's the Mixpot basically. You get free shit, like icons and stuff.
Yeah, it says you can get rare replays, Halo Wars 2 leader packs, Minecraft specialist skin packs.
Oh yeah, I heard about
We
that. If you stuck
And a couple
around
free
for the whole
games.
thing and watched it, you would actually get a copy of Rare Replay, which is not a bad deal, but it's basically bribing you to use their streaming service. It didn't come up very much, other than they said, welcome to everyone who's joining us on Mixer, and we're like, I doubt there are many people doing that.
Ah, yes, all of us on
Mixer.
Mixer.
Everybody that's on Mixer. And there was one other moment, which was one of the few cringeworthy moments, I would say, of the Microsoft conference, the Shoutcaster.
Oh Lord, that was what
Ooh.
game was that?
So it was another battle royale style game.
Yeah.
The Darwin Project is the name of that one.
Yes.
Survival of the fittest. Oh, it's such a clever game name.
Like Dodger, it was great. So it starts out with a trailer, like just normal trailer with this guy who, the art style, I can't really put my finger
It's
on
very
what the art style.
booky sort of
Graphic novel-esque
yeah.
a bit,
It
yeah.
almost looks
Yeah.
like more like those Lego games that are made into movies. Kind of. It's sort of blocky.
Definitely not gritty or realistic.
No.
As it doesn't look like playing with no battlegrounds, obviously, but it's a third-person battle royale game with hero class-like abilities.
And so the trailer starts
there's
out
the
showing
Shoutcaster.
gameplay and showing these guys fighting, and it's a cinematic where they're like fighting each other. And then after one guy wins, like this invisible chick with like a bow and arrow shoots him in the back, and she's like been trapped in the bear trap at the end. It's a story, whatever. A guy on stage suddenly starts shoutcasting as they go into another match.
No
And he
lead-in,
was like-
just loud, just like.
Oh, he was like, "That's right, we're gonna." It was amazing, and everyone's just like, "What the fuck is happening?"
He did it with a straight face too. I was just like,
All credit for
Oh, he
being
was-
able to deliver what was very clearly completely fake commentary. And then the bit is like, and someone on Mixer just chimed in. And it's like, what? You can apparently somehow either influence the match or put messages on the screen through the Mixer service.
because that's not risky at
I was like,
all.
oh no.
It's like, I've got a great idea, guys.
Yeah.
Here's the thing: it at its core, it doesn't look like a terrible game. It looks like a
No.
cartoony survival game.
Cringe presentation of it
Yeah.
makes me want to stay very far away.
Well, the style of presentation went full on esports for a game that does not look like it's going to have any esports presence at all.
No.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Huh.
I
Then
don't.
we had more Minecraft.
I don't mind the look of the game though. I may play it. Like,
Oh,
I may.
thank God. I've been wondering what's
Yeah.
going on with Minecraft.
Minecraft in 4K. They came out and hyped this up.
4K.
Now, the
Whoa.
most interesting bit of this was not because they put huge emphasis on 4K, but they sort of glossed over what is frankly a huge deal, that this game you can now play with people on Nintendo Switch, like PlayStation. I think almost every platform will be cross-compatible now.
Crossplay. Cool.
So you can go on the
That's
same
actually really
server
cool.
with your
Yeah.
friends on a different machine, which is like, whoa, this is a way bigger deal than what you're making it out to be. I can go on a PC, someone could be playing on a fucking iPad, and you're supporting Nintendo Switch as well? I don't know if they were shutting PlayStation out of it. I don't think they ever mentioned PlayStation
People are
at
saying
all.
not PlayStation.
That does
Yeah.
not surprise me. They're still in competition with them, let's be honest.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the fact that they're actually starting to treat now PC and Switch as sort of a neutral ground that they're willing to work with, I think is
Yeah.
good news for everybody, right?
For sure.
Yeah.
But it's still Minecraft.
But blocks in 4K, y'all.
I
like-
know. Thank God, because I really felt like I was missing something.
You were.
You know.
You were.
Not anymore.
When 5-year-olds can tell you, Mommy, Daddy, I want my 4K TV so I can look at my blocks and hide.
Mhm.
What?
Kid needs a
No.
spanking, is what that kid needs.
You're right, honey. Oh, look, I got a 4K TV. Trust me, it's 4K.
Honest. It's like, are you sure about that? I can't really tell.
It's like, yeah, I wrote a little label and just put it on, stuck
Yeah.
it on, little sticker.
Yeah.
4K,
4K.
honest
Yes, it's
lads.
4K.
No bamboozle, please. So here's something that I actually went back and watched last year's Microsoft conference, which obviously had its own huge Minecraft section to it.
Was that the? No, it was 2 years ago that we did HoloLens Minecraft,
Yeah.
right?
I think so.
2 years ago, yeah.
But what interested me was that when they announced Scorpio last year, they repeatedly said 4K and high fidelity VR over and over and over again. Not a peep about VR of any sort during the whole
Yeah.
Microsoft conference. The word was never mentioned
Well,
once.
we knew that they weren't going to show anything VR. That was announced before the conference. So either A, they had way too much to show and they wanted Scorpio to really take the stage on it.
Thing, yeah.
And they're saving it for the next conference. That's just my opinion. They want to like keep that ball rolling.
But to me, when you emphasize that last year about the Scorpio as being, this is why you should own one, because this is going to support the best console VR experience, and then you don't at all mention it when you actually say it's coming out later this year, that rubbed me, I mean, it didn't so much rub me the wrong way, it just confused the hell out of me. So where did that go all of a sudden? They just dropped it entirely from what I can tell. So that was confusing. Moving on, though, the Dragon Ball Z fighter game by the guys who make Guilty Gear. Yeah.
So many people being like, wow, this, like, I haven't seen anybody except for maybe Octopimp say, yeah, this game is definitely feeling like Guilty Gear. It's really bizarre to me.
It doesn't look like it, but it's a very high fidelity 2D fighter.
The seamless, like, two dudes fighting, and then it turns into incredible animation and like, all of that is so Guilty Gear to me.
And it suits Dragon Ball Z.
For sure.
Jen, you were not really enthused by that. As a Dragon Ball fan, I thought you might be. Is there just nothing that really caught your eye on that?
Not really. I mean, it's just like, ooh, it's another fighting game. All fighting games kind of seem the same to me. And a lot of them I can't play anymore because they will go 2D/3D where they have like movement and backgrounds, and I can't see it. I can't see stereoscopic 3D. So I can't, if I can't see the ledge in some of these games, like, how am I going to play these? Like, I can't play Smash.
Well, you can play Smash, but only on the specifically flat stages.
Right. It says, like, having to tell my kid, oh, well, we can only play on these stages.
On training stage or whatever.
Right. And he's like, Mom, that's fucking boring.
It was after this that they started blitzing game after game after game after game. And a lot of these were, like, not Xbox exclusives. Some of them were ports. They showed Black Desert Online, which obviously has been out on PC for quite a while. They showed some really good-looking indie stuff. The Artful Escape looked incredible.
Yeah, what a bizarre-looking game where you, like, rock guitar your way through levels. I have no idea what that game is. Literally not a clue.
It's bonkers.
Sounds great.
Yeah, you use a guitar as a way of platforming somehow. And Last Night was shown as well, which that looks amazing. So it's cyberpunk 2D pixel art in a 3D tilted world. Oh,
it's like, wow, Hotline Miami got an update.
Yeah.
Aesthetically, maybe game of the show in terms of this looks mind-blowing. It gave me huge flashback vibes.
God, you know what? It's a shame that game is already the most controversial thing to ever exist, ever.
I don't even want to address the controversy.
Yeah, no,
I'd like.
Let's just not. But
no,
that sucks that a game that is that cool looking is automatically like, hey, now we're gonna cause shit. Like, just let us have a cool thing. Let us have a cool thing, internet.
Let me be entirely frank. Everybody who is causing a kerfuffle over that is fucking irrelevant and is going to have no impact whatsoever on the success of this game. Let's be 100% clear on that.
Looks like fucking Blade Runner. It looks like fucking Blade Runner. Let us have something cool.
It does look fucking awesome.
You're damn right it does. And no doubt we'll all be looking at it, playing it. And yeah, here's a little bit of that Artful Escape thing where like, oh, it's a platformer. He's sort of running. And then it's like fucking guitars out of nowhere, which is thoroughly bizarre.
This looks cool too.
You're damn right it does, yeah.
This one's really cool looking.
I mean, this was kind of, for me, where the conference was really just getting into it, because I'm like, you're blitzing me with a bunch of stuff I did not know was coming, and looks great.
Can I tell you the craziest thing? This is where I had the biggest problem with this conference. It started out with, hey, this is our new console. It's the biggest, most powerful console ever made, ever. And now here are cartoony indie games and games that require no graphical processing power. Like, there was a massive, the only game that mattered when it came to the console was, it was like Forza and shit. Yeah. And everything else was crazy, cartoony, weird psychedelic shit that is very indie. It doesn't matter what console you play on, it'll probably look the same. And it was just a weird I don't know. It's like, what are you trying to sell us here?
I feel
Clearly,
like a disconnect.
absolutely.
So I'm going to disagree a little bit because Phil Spencer did say several times, which I rolled my eyes at initially, that we're going to have the most diverse gaming lineup. But compared to all of the other conferences, now that we've seen them all, they fucking did.
I agree with you with that statement.
Country
with
mile.
the diversity, absolutely. Especially
sorts
with what's
of
on the
different
screen right
kinds of
now. Fucking anime
it's
Souls
Weeb
is
Weeb
great.
Souls!
Ah!
Yeah, Code Vein, they're calling it Weeb Souls. There was so many different aesthetics on display, styles of game on display, developers from different countries on display. It was by far the most varied. Like, yeah, I think their message was there's something for everyone on Xbox X,
Right.
even though you're not going to sell Xbox X to everybody at all.
Which I think is, yeah, it was a good way to market it though, right?
I think so. I really do. And for those of us who are on PC, knowing that we're going to get access to all of this, that was a very cool to me. And I was really enjoying seeing all of this stuff. Compared to Sony, which we'll get onto later, a point that I noticed after watching the Sony conference was like, you fucking love third-person shooters with sneaking in it, don't you? Holy fuck. You showed a lot of that third-person action games. Xbox showed everything. All sorts of
I love
different
the
things.
Sony press conference though.
We'll get onto
Yeah.
I
that.
loved it.
We'll get there.
Oh.
We'll definitely get onto that. But yeah, they kept going. Then Sea of Thieves, you mentioned earlier, Dodge, like, what, did anything interesting happen before Sea of Thieves? It did. And then we saw good about Sea of Thieves.
Yeah.
And Jen, you had mixed feelings on Sea of Thieves.
Only because I don't really play multiplayer games.
Yeah.
So I don't have the same opinions as everyone else who plays both equally, and so I'm like, well, am I actually going to be able to play this?
I'm sure you
Is there
will.
going to be a single player campaign kind of
No,
experience?
I'm pretty
Not at
sure
all.
there isn't. No,
Right.
definitely not doing that.
So
From watching like the developer diaries while they've been making this game, yeah, the entire game has been built from the ground up to be like, how do we make it so that it's a multiplayer game where every person has like a job that they can do, but at the same time everyone can constantly swap around to like, really become a team. Like that's the whole concept of the thing. So yeah,
Bit of
I
a
think,
Guns of Icarus vibe, except you can get off your damn ship and do a whole bunch of other stuff.
yeah,
And kind of have your own pirate adventure. They cut the footage. The thing about it is, like, they showed 3 very distinctly different parts. Was like, we're going looking for treasure. So this is a exploration, don't get eaten by sharks, don't drown bit. We are now on an island using the map that we found to try and get the treasure, and then running from the skeletons. And then, oh, there's a player ship that is trying to sink us. We've got to get back to the boat. And then they had the naval combat bit. And I'm like, well, what's in between all of that, I guess?
launching yourself with a cannon, apparently.
Launching yourself out of a cannon onto a ship. Very cool.
Tactical. Very tactical.
did they talk at all about because I know, again, because I watched their dev diaries, I know that they've been trying to put some emphasis on like pirate team versus pirate team stuff. Did they talk at all about that?
They didn't put an emphasis on it, but the other crew was another pirate team. The thing that they put an emphasis on was the working together with your crewmates
to defeat the other crew, because they were trying to presumably steal the treasure that these guys had just dug up. So they had a ship-to-ship fight. That's where we saw one of the players shot out of the cannon, who boarded the enemy ship and then chopped them all to little pieces. And presumably then they stole what was on it.
The thing that I got from this trailer that I think because a lot of people had the vibe of like, well, that seemed kind of boring. The thing that I got from this trailer completely was, this is a game that is, the fun comes from you and your friends. Like, this is a solid, we make our own fun game. And so whatever you and your friends end up doing, that's where the fun comes from this game. I don't know if there's going to be a story-driven anything. I don't know if there's going to be anything super compelling other than, oh shit, TB just jumped out of a can, that's crazy. And like, oh, we got to go save him, sharks are go. Like, that's what this is. That's all this game is.
Yeah. So it does come down to how long are you going to be able to play this. What is the overall goal? Like, if I play this for 8 hours with my friends, will I be repeating the same activities? What will we be doing? What's the form of progress, I suppose? to what level is this shared world thing going on. Can I get my own dedicated server where ass hats aren't on my high seas?
No assets on my high seas.
Nope.
That's the name of the server.
Yep. Please, just let me rent a server, please.
I still think the one thing this game has going for it that they didn't show, because it only showed 4 people on the crew, but when I played it last year at E3, you could literally fit as many people that were on our station on one boat as we wanted to.
Oh,
there was no
cool.
limit to who could go on a boat. So you could have a whole crazy crew and just go around on one boat together. And that might be real fun.
I mean,
Instead of we all have our ships, you have to segregate people into different, okay, well, you're gonna have to go to that boat because we can only fit 4. Fuck it, let's just get one big boat and everyone come on, let's have fun. That might be the saving grace of this game.
I mean, I figured you might be able to do something kind of like that anyway, just because, maybe some people can stay on the boat while everyone else is exploring.
That's exactly
and treasure
what they
hunting.
showed,
Absolutely.
actually.
So...
They specifically said we should leave someone on the boat just in case someone shows up. That's the most boring job in the fucking world.
Well, no, because you could do other things. Like, I don't know.
Like what?
Go and avoid sharks, like dare someone to go in the water. I don't know.
Swab the poop deck.
Yeah, everyone in chat's like, Jesse, they're sharks. Fuck it. Everyone else will go in the water. Someone has to stay on the boat. Please.
I am
please,
pushing you
chat.
off the boat. I walk the plank, you scurvy landlubber.
Yeah.
I would
it'll
watch
be
people
fun.
play that, though. I would watch so many Twitch streamers play that together. It's like, I want to see that happen.
And that was the weird thing about the trailer, because the narrator, who was sort of kind of narrating in character, I think it was Simon Pegg, actually, who narrated this thing.
Really?
I believe it was. Either that or someone
Sounded like him. I don't
very
know that it
similar.
was, but it sounded like him.
He addressed streamers directly. He talked about Mixer, I think, of course, but it's like, I don't know, go on stream with your crewmates and show the world and entertain people and stuff. It was very weird for a trailer like that to directly address that.
There was even a joke about chat telling them to do it a different way. They're like, you'll never please chat anyway. Like, it was.
Yeah, that was Simon Pegg, by the way.
All right, there you go.
Yeah.
We know where the budget for the conference went anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, some people calling it streamer bait. Well, sure. Now, a game like that where you do it, the RP aspect of Twitch has got really big lately. In more than one game. Friday the 13th success, because it is a buggy piece of shit, a hot garbage dumpster fire disgrace of a game.
Tell us how you really feel.
Fuck that game. It is only popular because streamers played it and role played and did silly voices and all that kind of thing. And of course, GTA seems to have got a new burst of life on Twitch because of RP servers as well, right? Strippin was into that hard for a while. I'm not sure if he still is. I think he's just being bad at Tekken right now. But it seems like they are aiming specifically at that, and then they know that this is going to be big marketing for this game if they can get some streamers involved. At least it was a bit more organic than the way EA did it, just like shoving streamers in your face everywhere for no reason. So it's not, looks all right. We'll have to see out. It looks promising. It could be good.
Yeah. Cuphead finally has a release date.
Yes, it does.
Finally.
September 23rd? 25th?
29th. September 29th. I've never been so excited to finally see a release date for a game that's been coming out for 3 years. God almighty. Thank you.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, that did show up. And again, what we'd completely forgotten, actually, that it is a PC and Xbox exclusive. It's not coming to PlayStation. Not coming to Switch.
Yeah.
Which I completely forgot that was the case.
Yeah, 'cause the amount of care that you do not have. I mean...
Well, the problem, I cared about Cuphead 2 years ago. I'm just bored of waiting for it.
Is your care cup empty?
My care cup is very empty.
Uh-huh.
Crackdown 3. Oh, sorry. Dodge, go ahead.
I was going to say, at this point, I'm just wondering how long that game's going to wind up being.
Oh, Cuphead? I'm going with short.
Yeah, I don't know. Every time that Crendor and I played, it would get longer. So, for example, the first time we played, each level had one boss. The next time we played, each level had 3 bosses.
Right.
And there were multiple levels on like a world map. So I'm hoping they keep expanding stuff and keep making it a little bit bigger. I'm hoping.
Anyway.
That'll be interesting. Crackdown 3. So that showed up years ago when they first announced the Xbox One in 2013. I believe Crackdown 3 was front and center, and then the game vanished for years
And became Saints Row.
I mean,
That's really
it's
what
interesting
it
that
did,
you
straight up.
mentioned that because what was impressive sort of back then is not looking so much now compared to what like other open worldy superhero like games have done. And some people are like, well, I'm not so interested in Crackdown now. And we didn't see a great deal of gameplay.
But you can destroy everything.
The destruction did look impressive.
Yeah.
I will give it that. The 4-player co-op and all the destruction that was going on did look pretty good. This is not Crackdown. That is. There we go. Terry Crews yelled at us for at least a good minute beforehand, so I feel like I have to be interested because he will
I was
hurt
entertained
me.
until the game started. I was like, keep it up, Terry. Oh, never mind.
Terry, you got
What they showed of it was not that engaging, I'll say that. The fact that where was the driving in it? Like if you played the first Crackdown, one of the best things was you had these upgradable cars, one of which you could drive up walls and shit, which was really awesome. Not a peep of that. Not a peep.
I was hoping we'd like get air vehicles and stuff like that. I was like, well, how are we gonna make this different from the last Crackdown? It's just like, oh, I don't know, we could take mutants out of it and stop this crazy crap that happened with the last one, but sure. I was kind of hyped for it, and then when I saw the trailer, I was like, "Oh, kind of
not so hyped for it
not
anymore."
So hyped.
Every piece of footage in that game was in slow motion as well, which was really weird.
When a trailer makes you not excited for something you were already excited for, man, that's like
you have
so
failed.
sad.
You have made a horrible mistake. They then threw just quick trailers of Ashen. Remember the game a few years ago that showed up where everyone had no face? And it was like, what is this? It's Ashen. It showed up again. It is basically, it looks like a Soulsborne-like game. A very Souls-like-esque experience. I love the aesthetic. It looks really pretty.
Men with faces with no eyes, no mouth, but a mustache.
Absolutely.
Sign me up. That's awesome.
What else could you need? And then just a little bit of Life is Strange. It's not technically Life is Strange 2.
No, it's a prequel. It's a
prequel, apparently.
Right?
So that's going to be awesome. And
I am
was
heartbroken.
it only like 3 episodes instead of 5?
Yeah, 3 episodes, yeah.
I'm heartbroken. Ashley Birch said she's not back as Chloe.
It's due to
she did
SAG-AFTRA
say that.
strikes, right?
I think
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
The voice actor
So I don't know
strike.
what that means, but I hopefully look, as long as it sounds like the same character, I'm fine. Just like, don't do that like, hello, yes, I am Chloe. I'll be like,
Yeah.
Well, we got the same
What?
hipster soundtrack, and we've got an Oregon ashtray, so I think we're good.
Ashtray with Oregon,
We're
we're
good.
just keep saying hella and I'll be fine. But
Hella.
like, don't change it up too much on me. And I need this. I need this game.
Shadow of War, Middle-earth.
Looks great.
Looks pretty good what they showed. They showed a pretty significant chunk of what was going on, where he dominated a big orc captain and then took him as part of his army and then used him to plan an assault on a big fortress.
Oh, Bruce the orc.
Yes, indeed.
What a fantastic voice actor. Whoever that voice actor is, I love that dude.
I mistook him for he changed his voice a bit
Yeah,
when he
he
was
did.
evil Mordor orc. He sounded like he was from the northeast of England. Then he went full Aussie after that.
I loved him. It was so funny. It was like, this is the most charming orc I've ever heard.
It was
Somewhere
very
Tolkien's
nice.
like, the fuck? No. All right, it's me. I'm an orc and I loves you. I'm like, whatever. Fuck it. This is great. This guy's so good.
Yeah, that the gameplay looked fairly similar to the last one. There's more weapons from what we can tell. The big interesting aspect is being able to expanding that nemesis system, being able to build that army and use it to attack these fortresses of different levels that are there's pseudo randomly generated, being able to take over not only Mordor but a whole bunch of other places as well.
And to be able to like have legitimate friends out of your enemies too, right?
Yep. Befriend your enemies and expanding the whole, oh, you tried to get me last time, but now half my body's made of metal. You didn't quite kill me. Now I'm gonna fucking murder you.
And then somehow you convince them, no, you're my bitch. Go do this.
Yeah.
And then they do it.
Maybe
It's
one of
amazing.
the orc bitches will hate the other orc bitch, and then you have to like figure out how to.
Snap.
I believe they actually said that will happen to some extent, that there'll be internal
because-
conflict.
Because I think in Shadow of Mordor 1, like in Shadow of Mordor, it was that you could bring them on as allies, but they would lose all of their characteristics. They would just be like a
Right.
basic ally.
Right.
Yeah,
Now
in
they'll
this
become
case,
your
no.
ally, but maintain all of their character traits, all of their potential to hate or love somebody or something. So yeah, I'm
It's gonna be
excited.
awesome.
It's the
gonna be
most
awesome.
interesting system in games the last few years. And honestly, that game would have been completely generic were it not for that. That completely changed the nature of it. I can't wait to see who my first nemesis is going to be and what crazy story I'm going to have with him. And everyone's going to have a different one, and that's awesome.
I'm looking at this footage. I didn't even realize watching it live that Bruce's armor changes color when it becomes yours.
Yeah.
Like it goes from red to like a bluish tint armor. Like, look at that.
Yeah,
all right,
like a little
Bruce.
uniform. Yeah. I am very happy to see that game coming along nicely.
Mm.
So we'll see. I imagine it's going to be pretty cool. Ori 2?
Do we miss any?
Ori. Yeah. Ori 2.
Ori 2
looks
came next.
Very pretty.
Yeah.
Of course.
They had a pianist on stage playing the music to it. It was a beautiful moment. Really cool.
Can I ask a question?
You can try.
How do I? Is the owl who I think the owl is? I don't want to spoil
know.
things. I don't want to spoil things.
I didn't
Is
really
the
play
owl
that
who
much
I think
of
the
Ori.
owl is. Chat, if you're just watching, someone just give me a 1 if I'm correct, and we'll leave it at that. I don't like. If you haven't played Ori, first off, what's the matter with you? Go play that game.
Beautiful.
Secondly, it looked beautiful. Looked like a beautiful game, but we didn't really see much. It was just like shots of sad things being sad.
Yeah. The owl got a hug at the end.
Yeah.
So it's all right. That was okay. And big announcement. Xbox, original Xbox backwards compatibility
Yes.
coming. They showed Crimson Skies, which it's like, why do you make a new one? Because it's in IP hell, apparently. But they have said a little bit more outside of the conference about that. I believe, I'll have to double check, that your original Xbox disc, if you have one, will allow you to download and use the actual game. You don't have to rebuy it. That's my understanding of it. I'm just double checking that is true. Obviously, this stuff's going to be available digitally as well.
So is that like when, you know how when you go on Battle.net, and I'll never stop calling it that, Battle.net, and when you log in, and if you already own the original game, you can enter in like, here's my Diablo 2 code.
Yes, it's
Is that
like that.
the same thing?
Yes.
Cool.
They said they didn't think they were going to be able to do it, but apparently they can. So if you have your disc, if you still have your old Xbox collection, some of that's going to work. Obviously, not all of it right off the bat, of course, but it will. We'll see what kind of lineup they come up with. Crimson Skies is a great start. There are definitely some other games I'd love to play on Xbox. Jenny, you were a huge Xbox fan girl back in the day. That was your
I
console,
played
right?
Halo. That was my jam.
Was that it? Was that
kind
it?
of it.
You played nothing else?
Yeah. Well, because I mostly still was a PC gamer. At that point, I was still playing like my Diablo, StarCraft, Warcraft 3, and only then it was just like, oh, there's this thing called an Xbox. Well, I haven't played a console since the PlayStation 2, and I couldn't afford a PlayStation 3 and stuff, so it was like a long time ago. Gosh, the dark ages. But I was just like, there's this game called Halo. I want to play that. So yeah, I went and I got one, and that was it.
I wonder if they will provide backwards compatibility for the original Halo, bearing in mind they're selling the damn Master Collection and everything. I wonder if there'd be actually a point to that. I know some people would like the OG experience. I'd like to see Panzer Dragoon Order, Jet Set Radio Future.
Yeah, Jet
Do
Set Radio.
it.
That's what I was thinking of.
Yes.
Apparently, our stream's frame rate is lower than the original Shadow of the Colossus right now.
Yeah.
Are we enjoying stream difficulties?
Yeah. Twitch just crapped itself.
No.
Right as we hit 20,000 viewers, it just crapped itself.
Hi, people. Welcome.
It looks like, yeah, it's stable now. Yep. Stupid Twitch.
Cool.
Stupid, sexy Twitch. and then they capped off with Anthem. Like, we're finally at the end of the Microsoft conference. They capped off with Anthem.
The better Destiny.
Yeah.
Those are the
Do
feels
we know
I
that
got.
yet? Like, I can't.
Okay,
God, I want it
we
to be
know
good.
that because it has a single player campaign. You can play it single player. So, yes.
I mean, Destiny, you kind of could too.
Kind of, in a very limited way.
Well, some people are concerned that it's like, well, I play BioWare games for the story. This is clearly a sort of shared multiplayer looter shooter thing. Am I really going to get any of that? They're trying to reassure us that yes, you will. To what extent? Hard to say. It looked sexy as fuck. Like,
It did.
Yeah.
it really looked good.
Yeah, visually it looks amazing. I am really curious because at least I know what Destiny's like gameplay loop is. I have no idea what you're doing in this game besides like the little bit they showed you of you meet, and then like people popped
Shoot
in
and loot,
and they had that sort
what
of
I can tell.
fake VO thing going. Like
The
I just
fake
want to know
VO,
more.
yes. Reared its ugly
I
head.
just want to know more because it looks awesome. It looks really cool. But you know, I've been on this whole Destiny's garbage. Where's my story? And they're like, here's your Destiny story. I'm like, okay, well, I got that now. So maybe I'm into Destiny too. I don't know. I have no clue what's going to happen, but I'll probably end up playing both. So fuck it.
Yeah, what they showed within the demo, which of course it's E3, it's not representative of damn thing, is you looked powerful compared to like the Division where you're plinking away at a guy in a hoodie and slowly watching numbers go down. With this, you're a mech. Guy launches 20 fucking rockets off his shoulders, devastates an entire crowd of enemies. The freedom of movement, it's a big open world where you can kind of wingsuit and jump jet around it, which looks very entertaining if they pull that off right.
And apparently exploration's huge in this game, which I'm kind of into. So
I wonder if that. I mean, do you imagine that Mass Effect Andromeda may have had some influence on how
As soon as they
do that?
landed, as soon as dude landed in this, I was just like, oh my gosh, what's happening? Our ability screen and everything, it's the same place. The UI is the same place, and I'm just like, dude, what?
It was a mashup of Mass Effect and Destiny's UI, wasn't it? Very much so. So it's like, what are you? If it's like that, because I enjoyed myself exploring those planets in Mass Effect Andromeda with the jump jets and the mobility, and it looks like there may be areas in this that are like, we should not take this on right now. This looks too dangerous. Let's get the hell out of here. But you're right. What will it be? Main quest, side quest? How much is going to be found through exploration? Obviously, combat focus.
I'm worried that it will end up devolving into what Destiny devolves into, which is like, all right, let's go back into the same stuff. Like, you can explore, but eventually you'll discover everything. There's only so much content in a game.
Of course.
So then you're like, all right, what do I do now?
Yeah.
Right.
And that's what I'm worried about because there's a lot of potential here for this to be awesome. Like, just there's a lot going on, and I want it to be really cool. I just don't have a clue. So
No, I don't either. And
this underwater diving bit's super
looks
fucking cool.
pretty great. Yeah. It's a looter shooter ultimately, but it's a third-person mech suit with high mobility looter shooter, which interests me a lot more. I wonder if they'll take elements of Mass Effect's multiplayer, which would be a good thing because that's a good fun mode. Yeah, it looks. I mean, I want to know more. Just like you, I really want to know more. What are we spending the majority of our time in this thing doing?
Right.
Besides listening to fake VoIP.
Hopefully, never that.
Can I tell you that up until the part where Kim showed up on the screen, I thought that was like in game. Like, yeah, it'd be great when Kim comes back here later. I was like, oh, maybe there's a quest later. And then Kim shows up and was like, hey, what did I miss? I was like, get the fuck out. Like, hold on. Our other friends logging in. I was like, wait a minute. This is them pretending to be players? No. Stop. I thought it was real voices in the game. I was like,
It was like, oh, you have a mod. I was like, yeah, I got it this weekend. Like, well, all right, okay. You're doing that again. We'll see.
no.
I hope it's good. I do. Based on what I've seen versus what I've seen of Destiny 2, I am more interested in this. Honestly. Right now, anyway.
Yeah, that big ass robot walker thing. That thing's cool as shit.
Yeah.
There's so much in this game. I'm like, all right. So
Some seriously cool looking equipment and abilities, and the Frostbite engine looks beautiful here. So we'll see. That was basically the Microsoft conference. Lengthy, as you can imagine.
Yeah.
I
there
was
anything-
happy with it generally. What?
did we cover State of Decay 2?
We did not.
Oh, no, we didn't.
But really, the problem I had with the trailer of that is they didn't show.
Man.
They didn't
Kind
show
of look like the
bit-
first one.
Well, they didn't show the bits that were interesting about State of Decay, which is not fighting the zombies. It's the whole build
Let's
up your
hide.
HQ, interact with people, recruit people. Looks like they're going to have the choice to not do that, you know, faction warfare,
Yeah.
the survival aspects. Those were the interesting parts.
I just really hope it doesn't continue to be like with the last one where it's like, oh, hey, here's this buggy piece of crap, and then we're gonna force you to pay like, I don't know, like for an upgrade to like the whatever they're of the year.
State of Decay Working Edition.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like paid fixed, and then just like not support it. Like,
Well, hopefully they've learned the lesson from
I
that.
hope so. Because I love the idea. I love the whole premise. It's like, oh, instead of just, you know, hey, we're just going to fight these dudes, it is the whole building, making sure that your town survives. And I like that as an aspect in gathering things and saying, gathering things. Yay.
So, conclusion on Microsoft Conference before we take ourselves a break. I think it was contender for most interesting.
Really good variety, it sounds like.
Huge amount of variety. Easily the most variety of anything in the show, including the PC Gamer Show, which is a long, like, 2-hour show. I think this one had more variety of games. It didn't sell me on the Xbox X, but I don't think as a high-end PC owner, it's not for it's not for me.
Yeah.
You're right.
It definitely beat the pants off of the EA show. It wouldn't take much.
Yeah.
I mean, I think
Gonna say,
arguably it
given
did.
what I've heard,
I think
that wouldn't be too hard.
No.
I think it beat the Sony show as well. Simply on Sony showed a lot of very similar looking games.
We'll get
Microsoft
there.
didn't. We'll get onto that in more detail later in the show. But Jesse, you seem a bit skeptical of that.
No, I don't know that I agree it beat Sony, but I still think it was a phenomenal press conference. Everything about it was really entertaining. I don't know that I was particularly interested, but I think you covered this perfectly. I don't know that I'm interested in the Xbox, but I think the games they showed were some of the coolest ones that I've seen so far at the conference. So it was pretty neat. But most of them were indie things that I don't know they needed to rely on the awesome power of the new Xbox. Like, I don't think
No.
mattered. I think the games themselves spoke for themselves, and that's all that really mattered. So
Yeah, which to be fair, they did let them do that. They
Yeah.
they were not interrupting every few minutes to remind you that these are all in 4K, guys. Play it with the power of the Xbox X. Although they did have that thing flash at the bottom. It's like, console exclusive, enhanced in 4K, down at the bottom every single time. It's like, we get it! Okay, we get it!
Like, you can buy this on the Windows 10 store, and no one ever gonna buy a fucking game on the Windows 10 store. Oh.
Thanks for the heads up, though.
Yeah, pretty much. That was Microsoft. We will be going to a break shortly, and we'll get on to the rest of it, including, of course, Ubisoft, which is coming your way sooner rather than later, Bethesda and Sony. However, we would like to tell you about our sponsor, Audible. You can head on over to audible.com/cynical, and you can get yourself a free audiobook if you so desire, and I'm sure that you do. We have some recommendations for you. Dodger,
Yeah.
what you got?
Yo, if any of you saw the trailer for The Dark Tower and you were like, yo, what is this? It's a book, my dude. The movie is going to be for The Gunslinger, which is the first Dark Tower book. And it's fantastic. And they have it on Audible with a really good reader. If you would like to just listen to a really epic sounding dude, what's his name actually? George
Goodall.
Yeah. He sounds awesome. It's definitely worth a read for sure.
Yo, I also hear probably reading the books before you see the movie is like needed. So
Really? You think it's needed?
I read
that's
those
what
books,
the
like,
hype is.
I read those books like when I was like 12 years old.
Right? I read them when I was so young. It's so fun being like, yo, I'm gonna get back into the Dark
Right?
Tower books. Yeah.
I have to attest, I have never read or indeed listened to a single Stephen King book.
Really?
Wow.
It just never got around to it.
The first Stephen King book that I ever read was Misery, and it was super fucked up, so I loved it.
Of
And then
course.
eventually I got around to Dark Tower, and Dark Tower is very different from the like
Oh,
standard
yeah.
Stephen King stuff. It's a completely different genre than he normally works in. But
That's
it's
probably
still,
a good thing,
it's
because
still great.
he's usually horror.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
This
Well,
is
horror suspense, yes.
Is this how would you describe this as a genre?
dark fantasy.
Yeah.
Maybe?
Oh, okay.
It's like I was
And
getting like sci-fi-ish sort of almost like vibes like when I first started reading it.
Sci-fi in there, for
And I
sure.
was like, what in the world is this? Because I had started reading, like, I read The Shining, and then I read, like, Silver Bullet or whatever, and then I went to Dark Tower, and I was like, what is this? Did I pick a book?
Yeah.
It's like, is this a different Stephen King than the one that I was reading
Stephen
before?
J. King.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
There it is.
No, what the payoff for Stephen King fans is that this series of books weaves through the worlds he's created already.
Mhm.
And so you get a little bit of tidbits here and there. And so there's nice payoff with that.
But can you dive right into it if you have no experience of any of the Stephen King worlds?
Yes.
Absolutely.
All right.
Yes.
You know what?
For sure.
Live on air.
Oh my.
This better not show my credit card information. Clicking buy now for 1 credit. Confirmed purchase done.
Damn.
It's
Yeah.
mine.
Yeah.
It is
Get ready to
mine.
go on an adventure. There's a
I
lot
can
of great
start
books that
listening
come
to
out of
it.
that one.
On the Audible app right now, if I so desire. And it thanked me for my purchase. How nice of it. Jesse, you want to make
Yo.
us smarter.
I do. This might be the first time I actually choose a book that isn't Star Wars. So I just this past week purchased the new Neil deGrasse Tyson book, Astrophysics for People in a Hurry.
Aw.
It is not for dummies. This is not one of those like I'm gonna try to explain it to you slowly. This is essentially really cool facts and tidbits that are meant to blow your damn mind, to make you realize that like shit's a lot bigger than you. And he does a really good job of saying like all the little bullshit problems that we have and all the things that we think separate us. Like, no way, dude. We are so insignificant and small. Like, if anything, we should be knighting the fact that we are tiny specks of dust in the universe. Like,
Dude, that sounds awesome.
it's super cool. It's a really, and Neil deGrasse Tyson reads it, and it's a really cool sort of look into bigger picture things. And I mean, like some of the facts are like crazy shit. It's like there are more specs, they're more like molecules of water than I don't want to butcher the facts. Like it's shit that will literally blow your mind. Like I don't want to ruin it for you. You'll be like, the fuck? No, and you'll think about it for like a day and a half because it's really stuff that's like incredibly you know what it is? It's like when you go to that Facebook page, it's like science is cool, whatever that one is. Like it's that where it's like a little tidbit here and there, and you're like, shut up, I didn't know that.
Oh,
Yeah, it's that kind of stuff. So it's really cool. It's a good book.
That sounds pretty
awesome.
cool.
Yeah.
When it comes to nonfiction, I do prefer listening to it. I must admit, I find it easier to recall and to understand what it's talking about if I do that. So,
It's a super good in the car book when you're just driving and like he's dropping knowledge bombs on you. You're like, all right, Neil. Like, yeah, okay. It keeps you from road rage. Like immense. You're just like, shit. You know what? This asshole in front of me ain't even that bad, really. Yeah.
That's pretty awesome. And on the galactic theme, I will recommend something a little bit funny. It's Yahtzee Crowshaw's book, We'll Save the Galaxy for Food, a satirical sci-fi adventure. He's done several books. He narrates this one. So if you think you can deal with 10 hours and 23 minutes of unabridged Yahtzee in your ears, go for it. This is about a washed-up space hero who basically loses all relevance in his job after quantum teleportation is invented, so spaceships are no longer needed. And the things that he gets up to and the conspiracies and weirdness he gets involved in after that. Of course, Yahtzee also did Mogworld and Jam. Those are also available on Audible. And you can pick them up, read along if you so desire by using WhisperSync. You can switch back and forth between your Kindle app and device and whatever device you happen to be using to listen to the audiobook. I use it on the Amazon Echo a lot when I go downstairs. It's nice to be able to yell at a piece of technology and have it talk to me and not talk back or disagree with what I have to say. It's an experience that I don't generally get in real life.
Everybody in chat is saying that was a great fucking choice for a book. So I'm
Cool.
sold.
Well,
Are you going to
Yeah.
hit the buy button? Is that going to happen for you right now? You got any credits left? Do it.
I might have already used all my credits. That's okay. I'll put more in there.
You get next month. You can pick up your free audiobook right now at audible.com/cynical, and subscriptions to Audible will allow you to acquire credits every month, which can be traded for any book on the site, or you can buy books at a discount, part of a sale. There are regular sales. I pick up far more of these bloody things than I could ever listen to. Whenever it's like, oh, this is cheap, I better get it now because I might need it later. It's like my Steam collecting habit. It's becoming disturbingly problematic, I think.
Yeah.
And Audible is also packed with exclusive original short stories, comedy, news, podcasts, and all manner of other things. It is your premier venue for audio content on the internet. And this show was brought to you by Audible, an Amazon company.
Yay!
Thank you to them for their very generous support. We're going to a break. We are E3 and hard today, and we have more to go. If you'll stick with us, we'll stick by you. Yeah, maybe.
That was so sweet.
It is, isn't it?
Precious.
Go visit our
Huh.
sponsor. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Co-Optional Podcast, our E3 recap edition. We have slogged our way through EA and Microsoft, and we can move straight on to Bethesda Land.
I saw lots of pictures of people drinking alcohol in Bethesda Land.
Was
Oh
one
my
of
God.
them on this
That's
show
what I know
by
about
any
it.
chance?
I'm trying to point all the way over to the box and I can't reach
It's
him.
down.
Oh, for this one, it's down. Oh,
Right there.
Jesse.
Yo, you guys have no fucking clue. Oh my God.
Was Bethesda Land amazing?
Real talk. I'm gonna go back to what I was saying about EA, and I'll say it about Bethesda. I feel like both EA and Bethesda didn't necessarily have a lot of things to show, but they had a budget for their conferences, and they were like, "How do we spend this?" And EA's was like, "Let's give it to streamers and stuff," and Bethesda's was like, "Fuck it, let's just throw a crazy party," and that's what they did. The conference itself, which we'll get to in a sec, was okay. I think most of it was kind of rehashed stuff, except for the last two things they showed. But most of it was like, we know that exists, so whatever. But Bethesda Land was fucking crazy. So first, when you go into what is basically like the Nuka-Cola Land, and so
You drink the Kool-Aid first.
every single thing, every single game was its own land and its own drink, food, pin combination. So
Okay.
everywhere had its own thing. Doom, for example, was giant ribs and shots of tequila in skull shot glasses. Elder Scrolls was giant turkey legs with steins of ale that when you got it, they would slam it down on the table so foam would spray everywhere every time they served it to you. Prey was this crazy future dome thing that was all in space, and the drinks were this weird, what's called the Typhon. It was this weird cocktail drink, and everything there was space candy. Dishonored was little tiny mini things of like clam, it's just like crazy shit.
It sounds
And
like
it was-
a bunch of fun that people watching the stream did not get to
Did not
have at all.
absolutely. And I understand, like, everyone there was having a blast. I get why people on the stream were like, well, that was kind of a dumb conference, because there was not much, truthfully, and it was
No.
short. But the actual event was crazy, and there was people, like, it was just a ton of people, and it was like an amusement park, and there were lines for everything, and people were drinking and going, like, the Fallout area was straight up just Pabst Blue Ribbon and a paper bag that said Fallout on it. It was like, what? Fuck it, I don't care. Let's go. But then we got in there, and everyone stood around like it was a concert, and they did the press conference. Press conference happened, and then after it ends on the stream, he's still standing out there, and he's like, all right, well, that's it for everyone back at home, but this is for you guys. And then, like, straight up goes, okay, here's the Chainsmokers, and they come out and start playing, and he's like,
Are they
absolutely.
still doing that? No.
He's like, yeah, Chainsmokers are here, and then they start playing, and everyone like loses their mind, and then he's like, also over here is the Wolfenstein area and the Evil Within area, and the Wolfenstein area was straight up the Nazi diner from the trailer where they were serving In-N-Out burgers and strawberry milkshakes. Like,
That sounds
dudes
cool.
dressed up as like Nazi waiters, like, ooh, it was
In a weird way.
insane. And then the Evil Within area was this creepy ass like haunted mansion where they were serving champagne with like a little rose petal in it, and all the like creepy eye face. It was bizarre, and they had ice cream with little like black streaks in it. That it was like the most insane party I've ever been to in my life, truthfully. And it just kept getting crazier and crazier as the night went on. I don't know how long it went on because I like went to go to bed, but it was still going when I left. They could have been there all night. It was in the middle of downtown LA. It was fucking crazy. If I had lived nearby, I would have lost my mind.
Frankly,
But,
the more that we hear about this, the more I think the people that watch the stream are resenting the fact that you had a completely and totally
Massively
different
different.
experience to the people watching this thing. Because a
Right.
lot of people felt very let down by this. But let's get into what happened, and then we can maybe talk about why they, after just doing a sort of sizzle reel of, hey, look, this is kind of what we're doing, they got straight into VR, and they showed us Doom VFR. We knew they'd be working on VR versions of both Doom and Fallout for a while, and then later in the Sony conference, we find out they'd done the same thing with Skyrim as well, which they didn't mention on stage during this. And Doom looks really cool the way that they've done it to me, is they've gone for the teleportation style of movement, which is quite common in VR games as a way of getting around the motion sickness. But they've built the story around having it as an actual item, like attached to your arm. So it looks like there's some additional stuff going on in this game that wasn't happening in Doom itself. And I just like the fact that they have gone that far with it. And it makes it look a lot more playable than I thought it would otherwise. Because frankly, it looked like this game would make me very motion sick.
Yeah, and the warp mechanic they use, I think, is pretty. It's the same as oh god, what's that game where you play as a guy who repos robots? Fuck, maybe it's just called Robot
Recall?
Repo.
Robo Repo.
Yeah. That's the
Oh.
one.
Okay.
Where you like you do that sort of like jump forward, like the boop, and you
Yep.
sort of like point out where you want to go. I think that currently is probably the best way to handle games where you have to move instead of the weird VR sickness.
Mhm.
But with Fallout 4 VR, which looks like you're going to have to buy again for full price, I don't believe there's been an announcement of a way to get an upgrade for the existing Fallout 4. I think you're just going to have to buy the damn thing again. Looks like traditional movement with this one,
Yeah,
which is
I don't know that I
concerning.
can play this.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Jen, you've actually played probably a bit more VR than I have because you had the Vive set up in your room for a while. Did you play anything that had more traditional movement versus...
Almost everything had teleportation. Like, I haven't really played anything that has any kind of anything like this.
Right.
So I don't know how that would work or how I would feel while in it.
Well, supposedly not everybody is affected by the movement issues, and I wonder if Bethesda has come up with something that will help, but they definitely didn't explain that at all during the
Right.
conference. They said, yeah, you can play Fallout 4 in VR. We have no idea how many of you it's going to cause to vomit all over the floor. I'm not enthused by that at all.
It's part of the aesthetic of Fallout. Vomit on the floor.
No, I
Adds to the experience.
didn't really care about that. But Doom VFR looks cool, and I'm looking forward to playing it. And that's coming this year, so.
Yep.
Now, was it after this that they hit us with Creation Club, which is probably the most controversial thing that they did during this?
Yeah.
This has got a lot of people very cross.
No, it's a card game. Didn't we do Elder Scrolls, the card game, after that? Was
Uh,
that before?
it was after.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah,
my
they
bad.
showed like a few minutes of, hey, Elder Scrolls Online still exists, which
Oh,
obviously they
okay.
didn't announce anything for that.
Right.
And then they got onto Creation Club.
Borderlands just came
Yeah.
out for Elder Scrolls Online.
Yes, yeah,
Right.
that just came out, so they really had nothing else to show. They actually did some streamer stuff with that as well. They had a bunch of, hey, we're streamers, we're reacting to the Morrowind trailer, was in that, which was...
Here's the thing:
Weird.
as a person who's not into more like Elder Scrolls Online at all, I did kind of like that dude was like, "Hold up, let's watch that bear again."
Oh,
was pretty genuine. That was like a-
protagonist!
That was like
Run
a
that into the
genuinely
ground
fun
now.
moment where he's like, "Hold up, let's watch that bear again." I was like, "All right, you got me." That was kind of good, but most of them were like, "I'm crying."
for
This is
some
the best thing.
reason.
I was like, "Oh,
I'm crying for
fuck."
no reason. It's like, come on,
Yeah.
really? But yeah, this Creation Club, this has pissed off a bunch of people because...
Just you. I'm kidding.
I didn't piss me off, though. It's pissed off a bunch of people.
It's like I just wanted to say no. Actually, in fact, it hasn't. It's just you.
Oh, yeah, I wish the internet wasn't flipping its shit over it, but they are. It's paid mods 2.0 in the eyes of many people. So what Creation Club is, it's an in-game store that will allow you to buy content that was developed partly by Bethesda and partly by third-party developers. there is a process by which you have to apply to be part of this. You have to send in a portfolio, and you have to essentially propose something that hasn't already been done. You can't take an existing mod, even if you made it, and repurpose it in any way. You're not allowed. That's specifically against the rules. And then you can sell it and get a portion of the proceeds, and they're selling it for Bethesda points, credits, or whatever, which is just their bullshit microtransaction currency.
Yeah.
Now, people were pretty upset about this because they're like, well, we didn't want paid mods the first time. You're bringing it back again after we told you we didn't want it. But
how long ago was that? 2 years? 3 years ago?
2 years
when they tried that?
Well, yeah, and it came out of nowhere on Steam, and it was a fucking disaster. It was cancelled within a week. Terribly implemented. But let me go to bat for this. For
Okay.
Devil's advocate.
I'm not. This isn't even devil's advocate. I'm quite serious about this. This is not me being contrarian. This is common fucking sense. My argument consists of more than just the rings of Ree across the land. This, to me, isn't paid mods. It's just third-party developed DLC. And you might ask, well, what's the difference? It comes in the process by which it's developed and the amount of curation and supposed, bearing in mind this is promised, and this is Bethesda, we don't really know how much to trust them on this, of QA and actual development they're going to be doing with it. So you submit. If you get accepted, what happens is not only are you paid a percentage when the thing comes out, you are paid for development milestones. So just like any other developer with a game, you have to set a milestone. You have to achieve that by a certain time, and if you do, you get paid at that point. So it's not just you've got to sit there hoping you earn money when the thing comes out. They are paying for content development directly as it's being developed, not just at the end of the whole thing.
Right.
That to me is a huge, crucial difference, because
For sure.
it's not like we haven't had third parties develop expansion content or DLC for games before. To me, there is no difference other than it will be smaller content, most likely, cheaper content, and it will encompass a wider variety of developers than just maybe working with one or two. It's mercenary content development. If Bethesda sticks to its word, which again, when it comes to QA and bug fixing and testing, they can't even bug test their own games, God knows. If they stick to the promises of compatibility, keeping it updated, making sure it works, and really I believe they have a legal responsibility to do that now, because they are selling it within their game with their currency. They can't palm it off on some third party and say, this is not our responsibility anymore. They have to take responsibility to make sure these things work. If they do that, I don't personally see the problem at all. And it really comes down to you as the consumer deciding whether or not this shit's worth your time. Because looking at what they showed something, which it is the dwarven mud crab armor shit, which was like, is that just a joke? Like, I assume you don't actually mean to sell that.
Yeah.
If you're selling shit like horse armor, that's just as bad as it was 10 years ago. Horse armor was shit then, and it's shit now. So you've got to convince someone that what they're paying for is actually worth it. Certainly what they showed in that list was not, random little armor sets and weapons. You can download those for free. Why would you pay for them? For what possible reason? Do any of you have a dissenting opinion on that, counter argument to that?
I mean,
I've honestly never really had much of an issue with paid mods.
right.
So, because in my mind, I'm like, yeah, I would love to pay somebody for their work. I think the biggest dissenting problem in the whole thing was that these mods already existed, right? And then there was a company saying, well, what if we took a percentage of that, but then the person who made the mod gets money. Yeah,
you were taking what was free and then saying now it's not, which of course was going to cause a huge fucking uproar. Of course it was.
Right, but the idea of saying to a modder, like, hey, you do really good work,
You should
you
get
know,
paid for it.
What if you got paid not only once you create the mod, but like throughout the process, as though you're a legitimate developer, which you are. I like that idea. I do. So I don't know. I do think that there's a big difference there.
The big concern I think some people have is a slippery slope argument of this is moving towards there will never be free mods again.
Yeah. It's just like,
Right.
well, if I've made this mod and this mod, just as a community mod maker, like why would I not just like drop all support for those mods? I'll never make an update ever again for them, and I will just go and make only paid mods from now on because I like money.
Okay, I am entirely fine with that. They don't owe us shit.
Right. No, I'm just saying I understand that and you understand that. Will
Right.
everyone on the internet understand that? Maybe not.
Well, to some extent, they need to get their heads out of their asses then, because this is actual work. They do deserve to be paid for that work. If they decide, I'd rather not slave away for free, I'd rather try and make a career out of this, they have the right to try.
Mhm.
Will they be good enough to do that? Who knows? Because when you think about the way that the development milestones work, Bethesda is not going to throw money at you for something they don't think is going to sell and recoup that money.
Right.
So really, it's in their best interest to be highly selective with what they choose to allow onto the store.
It'd be interesting to see also kind of like what their take on it will be. Like, I guess like with Steam Workshop and stuff, like how much of a percentage, is taken. So kind of like the same thing here. It's
Yeah,
like how much
we
of a
don't know that.
percentage, right? And we don't know, but yeah, I'm interested to see more information about that. Like, how much are these modders going to be gouged for their hard-earned work?
Well, I think that milestone support is hugely crucial. And
Yeah, some people in chat right now are saying like, well, but you can already donate to a modder if you want to.
we've
But
had this
here's
argument
the- here's the-
before. Nobody
like,
does.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, here's the
You assume that other
facts.
people do,
People
so you don't.
donate to them. People don't donate to
No,
them.
they don't.
They
We-
don't make enough to live off of. I'm sorry. That's
No.
just like, we can sit here and say like, oh, people really should. They're never going to. It's a free mod. They don't think to donate to a creator
No.
for that.
And we have proof of that. I spoke to the guy who runs Nexus Mods a couple of years ago, biggest mod site on the internet, especially for Bethesda games. They have that donate button for every mod right there. And I asked him, look, how many people really use it? And it's like, it's insignificant. The
Mhm.
amount of people that actually donate to this stuff, no. Let me be entirely frank. The only people making bank on mod development right now are the guys making fetish sex mods and doing Patreon support for them. That's it. They're the ones. Those
I
are
was
the
just
only
about
people.
to say that. Yeah.
Yeah. By
They're
the way,
like-
do not refresh your stream. Apparently, Twitch site-wide is having huge issues. If you refresh, you might not get back on. So
Damn.
stick with us, okay? Ultimately, I have no problem with the way that the system is set up. I think you as a consumer need to decide whether or not that stuff is worth your money. I think you also need to accept that people are not required to work for free. You are not entitled to their free work. If they wish to keep doing that for you, good for them. More power to them. And I'm sure many people will, especially bearing in mind you have to make brand new stuff for this.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You've invested 4 years into making a mod. You're not going to suddenly drop it so that you can go make a brand new thing and abandon everything that you've done. If some
Yeah.
people move over to that and stop supporting the free stuff, again, people got to pay the rent.
Yeah.
And I know this from personal experience. I'm currently working with 4 modders on a mod for something that I won't tell you about, but I'm currently working with them. And I talked to them about a couple of things, and development on it is slow because these guys have real jobs and they have to work. And what we did was, we tried to raise funds, and we've raised some funds so they get paid the kind of money that a freelance software dev would get, which FYI is about $50 an hour for freelance contract software development work.
Right.
And development is slow. Of course it is. They have jobs, families to support. This is not the sort of thing that you can just spend all your time on. And you've seen how many mods get abandoned. You've seen how many mods have huge problems with maintaining a staff. And that's all down to money.
Sounds like you want to make a video about it.
I've said all there is to be said about it. The only reason I make a video about it is so I get some ad revenue off it.
You could title it TotalBiscuit talks about TotalBiscuit talks about mods and
I will not talk about mods for 23 minutes.
yeah.
Oh, that's way too slow. You kidding me?
No, TotalBiscuit will
Way
now
too
talk
low.
about paid mods because
Yes.
Well, I won't talk
triggered.
about paid mods because they're not paid mods.
No, that, but
Oh,
you don't know how YouTube works.
yeah.
Someone teach him how YouTube works, please.
I just want his.
Don't ask
videos
us. We don't
I'm
fucking
sorry,
know.
you're asking to teach me
his
how
titles to
YouTube
just
works.
get longer and longer and longer.
They absolutely do. We've hit the character
Yeah.
limit several times. There is a character limit if you didn't know, and we've hit it. Yeah. So I think that the internet's knee-jerk reaction to this was in many ways unreasonable. Some of their concerns are valid, but we don't know. We just don't know enough about that right now as to how valid those concerns are going to be.
Yeah.
And I frankly find it disgusting that some people seem to believe that mod development isn't worthy of being paid for. Are you fucking kidding me?
Some people still don't play for video games.
Yeah. They don't appreciate that kind of work. That is a real fucking job. Come on. We said this 2 years ago. We'll say it again now.
Next.
Cool.
What was next to Bethesda? Shit. Oh, Skyrim on another Skyrim.
Skyrim on Switch.
This time on Switch.
Now has a Master Sword in it and motion controls.
I'm not gonna lie. I don't know what the reaction on the interwebs was, but in that crowd when they were like, "You can use your Link amiibo," everyone lost their shit, and I was like, "Is this all it takes anymore? Is this all it takes?"
Yes,
People
it is.
lost
Wow.
their minds. It was like, Link. I was like, "This is it. This is
Wow.
what it takes now."
You could be
Sure.
Link.
Okay.
Were they drunk? Because I mean, it sounds like Bethesda was quite a
Oh,
party.
I guarantee they were all drunk. I mean, like before it even started, they were just making drunk jokes. Like, "You guys are gonna be the greatest crowd ever." I was like, probably, but still, people were genuine excitement, not like drunk, like woo, like really giddy about that. And I was like, it's just clothes. It's not even Link. It's like the Link outfit. Calm down.
Getting excited about that right after complaining, "Oh, well, we could do all of that with free mods." Right,
Yeah.
okay, sure.
Crazy.
You not notice the difference
Crazy.
there? What difference? They then did monochrome esports. Yes.
What's that? Tell me more.
Yeah, so we're doing this a little bit out of order, but Jen, you did not like this segment. It was like, we're doing a full-on competitive gaming segment, and we're going to take it seriously because we're going to film it in grayscale.
They talk about it like it's a freaking Nike commercial. Like it applies to everyone. Like it's the lifestyle of a gamer, and we're totally about all these things that it seems so fake and so cringe. And then all of a sudden color comes on the screen and it's like, what? Wizard of Oz, what? What's happening here? And then boom. It's
just, hey, here's gameplay of Quake Champions. They announced...
no one cares.
I actually...
No. Like the way they presented it, it was such a...
The way they presented it was like they were presenting it to potential investors.
Right. It was just like, this is why you should care. 'cause it's
Esports
just like,
is serious business.
yeah, instead of like, this is how much fun people have playing esports. You know, it draws in a lot of people in. A lot of people want to watch this. It was just so... the cringe. I don't know how else to describe it. It's just very cringy. It made me feel like there is actually not that much excitement for it. And then the colors come in, and then it's like, oh, okay, this is supposed to be exciting.
Well,
but
to me, it was like, we know what real esports is like, and it doesn't look like
Right.
that.
yeah, no.
It reminded me of that silly, what was it, Crusher 77 thing for Overwatch
Yes.
or whatever. It reminded me of that.
Actually, truthfully, that was the moment where he started losing. I was like, all right, they kind of are in on the joke. Where
Yeah.
he's like, no, everyone hates him now. I was like,
They
okay.
did have some self-awareness, I'll give them that.
Yeah.
I was like, all right. But yeah, they announced the $1 million Quake World Championships, and it looks like they may be
Which is cool.
Yeah, they may be pushing this 4 versus 4 sacrifice mode over duel, which would be very interesting because that's very non-traditional for them. But
I mean, this is a big deal for a lot of people who loved Quake.
yeah, sure.
It's huge, but
Yeah.
I was just like, you're taking like the biggest news for people who loved Quake for so many years, and you're making it like,
Look like this.
no.
Like I said, looks like it was made for investors, not
Yeah.
gamers. Before that, we did get Dishonored 2 DLC announcement, finally.
Dowd.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
You don't look it or sound it, I must admit.
I'm relieved is what I am.
You're like
Yeah, that was my-
content for the game.
no.
Girls, TB.
I'm super relieved. The biggest thing about the end of Dishonored 2 was this giant open storyline. I'm not gonna spoil anything. There was just an open storyline that was like, boy, I better fucking get a DLC or else I'm gonna be real pissed. So I'm glad this exists.
Oh,
is what
okay,
I'm saying.
cool.
Now, this is actually a standalone expansion, as it turns out. $30, I believe. It's a full-on expand-alone, which would explain
really
why it's
excited.
taken this long. The game's been out almost a year. It's quite surprising that it took this long, but if it's going to be that size, sure. Makes sense. Looks like Dowd's kind of assassin. Is it a daughter? I don't know who it is, but she's got a red glowing cybernetic eye. She looks like Kano from...
I can't say anything about this. It's
Okay.
literally a
Mortal
massive
Kombat,
spoiler in the
yeah.
game, so I can't say
All right.
anything. I'm just gonna
Okay.
say
Hard pass, Jesse
Alright.
Cox. I'm in the middle of the game right now, so
from the
no,
game.
hard
Yeah,
pass.
sorry, it's from the game.
I haven't even
can't say a
started.
fucking thing. So
I
you know.
haven't even started it.
I was
but
waiting for all the bugs to be fixed before I even started this game, and now I'm like, "Cool,
the
this
4
is
patches
amazing."
in, so it might be worthwhile. But yeah, more Dishonored, good thing, certainly. Evil Within, I believe, was what they throw a lot of not showing us gameplay. Very, very long cinematic trailer for Evil Within 2 is what we had here. Jesse, did you played it, right? Evil Within the original?
Yeah, we tried to play it a while ago, and we all hated it. And then we talked with a bunch of people who were like, "No, it's actually really good. You're not doing it." Apparently, it's supposed
You're
to be
not
this,
doing it
like,
right?
Stop
I
playing
know,
the game
yeah.
wrong.
Apparently, it's supposed to be because we were frustrated. It was just like a frustrating game, and we couldn't figure out like what we were doing wrong. And I guess it's supposed to be less horror and more like the Dark Souls of horror games, which whatever.
None of that.
So-
you guys ran into literal situations where you could not progress.
We couldn't figure out what to do. We
Like,
Oh, wow.
That's not Dark Souls. That's garbage.
Yeah, there was an area we could not get through this like burning house. We couldn't figure it out to
Oh,
save our lives,
wow.
and it was like hours of just being like, "What are we doing wrong? Like, what is happening?" Yeah, and clearly we're idiots because everyone's like, "Here's how you do it," but it was so unintuitive to us at the time, and that was like level 2. We were like, "What the fuck?" So, I don't know. I mean, I'll always give a game a shot, but I literally have no clue. I think maybe because I know a few people have beaten Evil Within, I'll grab them and like go back through it just to see what's what and maybe see if it actually was me just being a freaking idiot, which is possible. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see what it's about. But truthfully, I didn't get to see most of this trailer because at some point during this trailer, a guy diagonal from me passed the fuck out and just smacked his head on the ground, and like
Oh,
security had to be
wow.
called and shit. Oh yeah, so I was watching that show rather than what was going up on the stage
Wow.
during this moment. So I missed most of this trailer.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Of course. I mean, I guess that's what's gonna happen when you're like, just take a shot of tequila and then a thing of ale and then
You know-
a glass of champagne and then
Just close your eyes. Everyone close your eyes and imagine the guy you think would be that guy who passed out. It
Okay,
is
yeah.
100% that guy.
It's
You
that
know
guy.
this guy. You know exactly who this guy is. You know his like kind of spiky blonde hair. Like you know everything about this dude. You know he's thin but a little on the unhealthy thin side. Like you know like he has that
Hasn't seen the sun in a while.
Yeah. That guy who's like, this is the first part I've been to in a long time and I'm ready to go crazy with my friends. And it's like, you shouldn't have, dude. You really shouldn't have. That guy.
this is
Yeah.
not the time, dude.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. We were like, oh no. But then we got one of my favorite trailers of the entire conference.
Without a shadow of a doubt. Yeah, the best thing at this conference by far. Yeah, opening up with the whole Lassie parody at the start with the mechanized flame-throwing dog, right into Wolfenstein 2 New Colossus,
Nice,
including a
yes.
good amount of gameplay trailer, a good amount of story.
And you can ride it.
You can ride
Yes.
the
You could ride
mecha
it.
dog. You can do this.
Oh.
The Nazi action figures and all that kind of the fake German or else game show and stuff like
Did you
that.
watch
German
that?
or else. That was so good. Everything about that was fantastic.
This weird mutant cat that was operating.
What was up with that cat?
This trailer had a very interesting sense of humor. Like it was way less serious than Wolfenstein New Order.
Well, I think it's still taking place in the 60s, and I think it's more the psychedelic 60s than anything else, which I think is pretty cool.
Possible alternate timeline of what was back there previously.
Considering we were dropping acid
Well,
in the
yeah,
trailer.
a character literally dropped acid in the trailer, so that was pretty great.
It was.
Yeah, there's a weird like little chameleon guy, and I love
Yeah.
that. If he's in
Little
this
Galaxy
game the
chameleon.
entire time, I'm in.
Oh god, I hope
I
I'm
so.
know,
so
right?
excited.
I hope they embrace that aspect of it. Because honestly, if you go all the way back to the start of Wolfenstein was pretty fucking weird. It's like the Mecha Hitler and the weird occult stuff and the kind of Pac-Man-like monsters trying to eat you in the maze later in the game. Return to Castle Wolfenstein had a bunch of weird occult shit in it as well. So going a little silly with it, I am all right with that. Entirely okay with that. It still looked like it had some very tense moments. That moment in the diner was expertly voice acted. Very cool. Reminded me of the train scene from the first one.
Absolutely. And they brought her back for this one too, which is sure okay. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see what they pull off with this, because if they can have scenes with like Jimi Hendrix playing the guitar and shit in this one, just like great moments. That game had so many great moments. We were like, this is a phenomenal game. Yeah, I'm ready for this one. I'm ready for the little tiny fun moments in this.
Absolutely. Did you finish Wolfie?
No, I did not. I need to go back and finish it because it was a phenomenal game. I think I can't remember what came out. Something came out right after it had launched, and I was just like, I was probably maybe 50% through the game. I was having a blast, and then something else came out, and I was like, oh, hold up, I need to go play this. I really wish I knew what it was offhand, but I didn't go back to it because games like that, I feel like if I go away from it for long enough, I'm like, oh crap, where was I in this game?
Really lost. Yeah.
Yeah, and I
Same
hate
way.
that feeling. I'm
Start
like, oh,
again,
I'm just gonna
maybe.
start over. It seems so bad, but I'm gonna finish it before this next one comes out.
Yes. It was excellent. It was my game of the year that year. This may very well be my game of the year this year. It's coming out November, I believe.
Cool.
Super excited.
Very happy about that.
Yeah, I watched people play it, and I never actually played it myself.
It's
but
excellent.
So good.
I should.
You'd be surprised at how good the character interactions between people are in that game.
Yeah, it makes you uncomfortable, but in a good
Yes.
way. It makes you feel things you don't feel in other games.
There's some very genuine stuff
Okay.
in there.
The love story's back. I'm excited for that.
The love story was tastefully handled, which almost never happens in a video game.
And this time, there's a pregnant woman murdering people, which is pretty great. I kind of fucking love that. As a guy drops acid.
Yeah, I think someone was more than a little influenced by Inglourious Bastards with this one, I think. Very much so. Very Tarantino.
Oh, yeah.
Looks incredible. Conclusion on the conference. A lot of people were very let down by it because it was quite short. A lot of people had unrealistic expectations of it. They expected, oh, where's Elder Scrolls 6? Like, that's not coming out yet.
We're also waiting for like more news on that other IP that was rumored to be working on, like that was
Starfield.
something. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's because everyone
trademark.
went to the internet and was like, yeah, I work for Bethesda and I have all the scoops. And people
Yeah,
bought
right.
into that shit so hard. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
It got so bad that people were like, okay, so here's how Starfield is actually spelled out on the under construction beams of the Bethesda
Ah,
map that's
God.
released on E3. I mean, that's how conspiracy it really got.
That's
Yeah. What I'm surprised no one hours, because the Bethesda land was going on for 3 hours before the actual conference. The map that had under construction map didn't have under construction on the map we were given of the area. So you could see everything they were going to announce well before they announced it. And there were certain areas that were off limits in the actual event, but the map had everything there. So I'm surprised no one just leaked and said, here's what they're announcing, and that's it. But no
to-
one did. So the internet still was like, where's Starfield? Oh,
To me, the conference was short and relatively to the point, and it didn't overstay its welcome. It focused a lot on something I was interested in, that being Wolfenstein. Like, if that wasn't there, I'd have obviously been bored out of my mind, probably, by what was going on there. But that was a major, very, very good announcement with some excellent footage that was very engaging to me. But I love Wolfenstein. I understand if you don't, this conference may very well have not had a lot for you.
but man, I don't know how you can't love Wolfenstein. What a fucking great game that was.
I do question your taste if you don't, honestly. And yes, we are aware Twitch is currently shitting the bed completely. There's nothing we can do about it. Looks like it's site-wide. So if you do miss this, don't worry. VOD's coming up, of course. So that was Bethesda. Like I said, it apparently let a lot of people down. I wasn't let down by it. It wasn't by no means the best conference of the show, but it showed me some stuff that I liked and didn't overstay its welcome. I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
All right. Ubisoft. To me, the surprise hit of the show.
And the lack of the opening number and of lions and
No lions and
bears
tigers and bears, oh my. Only a few seconds of a dabbing panda, which
yeah.
I can't forgive. But this conference had some interesting announcements.
Yeah.
Shout out to Laura last week for calling what I truly have been hyping last week as what I think is going to be the thing people talk about the most, Mario and Rabbids. That
Yeah.
shit, XCOM Mario. That's going to be the biggest hit of the con. Wait for it. People are going to come out of there like, that shit was dope. You know what's going to happen.
It was very odd.
Right?
Like, it was, I didn't expect it. It was, I mean, I knew to expect it because I had researched it before the conference began, but it's just, I didn't know how it was going to play. And then when I saw how it worked, I was like, oh, I would play that.
Absolutely.
Like, what? It's like we stole all the good bits from all these other games. We put them all in here and we Nintendo'd it up. Yes.
So for those who do not know, it is a turn-based tactics combat game in the vein of XCOM, but with Mario and Rabbids. And no, we're not kidding.
And it
I'll
looks
play
amazing. It looks super fun. The combos you can do, the stuff they showed off, it looks great. Even the fucking annoying rabbits that I hate were charming. As like Rabbid Princess Peach was super charming.
I know. She had so much sass. I was just like, yes.
Right?
Yes.
She looked at Peach's dress like, mm-mm. I was like, ooh, girl. It was so good. Everything about it was great. I'm excited.
It looked great. It was a huge surprise. It's Ubisoft.
I know.
It's just so strange.
It didn't seem like something Nintendo would allow Ubisoft to do.
Yeah.
It's
I
like, we're
would
so
love to know
protective
the
of all
process
our
of that.
stuff.
Yo, Danny O'Dwyer, get on that shit.
Yeah, I just
Figure out how that got
how
made.
did it happen?
There's a story there. I don't know what it is, but it's got to
Someone
be
got really
interesting.
drunk
That
at the Bethesda conference and was like, "Hey, hey guy,
can make this
hey,
happen."
we should do this."
I mean, if I don't own a Switch by the time this comes out, I'll own a Switch when this comes out.
Mhm.
This is right up my alley. A lot of people seemed very surprised by it.
Yeah, when is it supposed to come out? Does it have a release date?
It's this year, isn't it?
Yeah, I think isn't this the one? I think this might have been the one where they were like everything comes up at the end of the year.
Yeah, I think it might have been.
So that's cool if that's the case. That's another reason to buy the Switch. So, all right,
Yep.
cool.
Quite soon, August 29th.
Oh wow, That's
Pretty-
sooner than I thought.
Yeah, like this thing's basically done.
Wow.
According to chat, it comes out the same day as the XCOM expansion, which absolutely cannot be a
Whoa.
coincidence. That's
That's so
actually
funny.
a super dick move.
Because
That's a Blizzard-like dick
You
move.
have to choose.
No, I don't. I'll play them both, but
Simultaneously.
That's so funny. What a dick move.
that is a dick move.
Everybody does that shit now.
Man.
Everybody does that shit now. Even
Brutus.
Nintendo.
Yeah, that looked great. So that was a really strong start to the show. After a bit of, okay, Miyamoto's on stage and talking, and this is dragging on a little bit long. Once they finally got into the gameplay, I was like, yes, I'm absolutely all in on this one. So I think that definitely got people's ears perked up in regards to this conference.
Rabbit's ears.
Yep, they're big rabbit ears thinking, oh, you know, maybe Ubisoft has a sense of humor after all, and maybe this might be an interesting conference. And then the Crew 2 happened.
And then they gave us more
Oh.
cars.
Wasn't just cars,
know.
planes and
No.
boats too.
No, it was okay. This was all down to presentation, and this guy who just
We're
like,
sort of skipping Assassin's Creed because they actually show basically
we've already
nothing
talked
of
about
it.
Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
The guy who is ASMR captain of his corporate team, like talking in the slowest, most
Lord.
sleepy, kind of drawn out speech you've ever heard. But talking about high octane and something about, what was it? Was it drifting or racing on the rooftops?
Racing on rooftops with cars, and like, well, you didn't show any of that. That doesn't sound like it would happen.
No,
Yeah.
but like just high octane. But he's saying it in such a sleepy voice that I'm just like, what? You guys couldn't find anybody else to talk about this game.
Yeah.
Like nobody else.
Oh dear. It also, it seems like they've gone the direction of Steep with this. Like, this is gonna be a shared world, do a bunch of different activities, then share it on social media kind of game. They showed a lot of liking and sharing and all this kind of stuff, fake social media for this character. You can race in a plane, you can race cars, you can race bikes, you can race ATVs.
There was a horse. Can you race the horse?
They never confirmed horse
I
racing,
know.
I'm afraid. So that was maybe a bit disappointing.
gonna
You
say
can race
yes.
boats. Yes,
You know.
absolutely. But like I said, the way they presented it was dull as hell, and I had no impression by the end of it what I was actually supposed to do in the thing.
Right.
It had some Inception aspect going on, stuff just collapsing on top of things.
As
Like
Things on top of things.
And
Yeah.
I'm like, is that just part of this whole, hey, you can race anywhere kind of thing? Is that all you're trying to explain? Or do things like this happen in the game? I don't even know.
Yeah.
And then for no reason, Steep happened. Like, hey, remember that game?
Remember Steep? Nope.
That was in their little like intro bit with all the people playing. That was the vast majority of it was Steep. Like, hey guys, people enjoy this game.
Those are the 84 people that were online playing when we did the Snarkathon.
Yeah, Steep is dead on Steam. If you don't already know, by the way, like nobody is playing it. Yeah, they basically announced a winter, summer, or some kind of Olympic expansion. I assume it's a winter Olympic expansion or whatever.
It's just rock falling. Summer expansion.
The snow melted. They also, sorry, Dodge, go ahead.
No, it's fine.
As you can see,
Yeah, we got a storm going on.
Thor's pissed. There was
Yeah.
a little weird VR bit in the middle of it.
Yo,
That's
that
what I was going to ask about, the Elijah Wood thing, right?
I'm
Yeah.
gonna change my mind from Wolfenstein, and I'm gonna say this might be my game of show.
Ah!
I was so into this shit. I was like,
There was no
I don't know
gameplay
what this
at
is, but I'm
all.
in.
No, nobody had any idea what was going on with that. All that we know is called Transference. Is coming out in spring 2018. Some sort of VR creep-ass experience.
Yeah, with Elijah Wood.
Yep.
Like selling you on it. I don't know. I doubt he's in it. I don't care. I
No,
just
he
want
owns the company.
He owns a company that
He
makes
owns
it.
the company that makes it. They're collabing together to make the
Right.
the company makes horror movies and horror VR experiences. So
I think this is supposed to be like a FMV VR experience,
that'd be cool.
which I'm totally down for.
Yeah.
I'm down for it.
Reminded me hugely of that one Black Mirror episode
Mm-hmm.
of where it's like, we're in the VR, but we're not in the VR. Are we in the virtual world or not? All that kind of thing.
Right.
Then they dropped a big surprise, which is Skull and Bones.
Black Flag 2.
Basically, yes. They decided people loved the naval pirate combat out of Black Flag. Let's make a whole game that's got nothing to do with
Just that.
Assassin's Creed. Let's do a whole online shared universe sort of thing with it. Which is where your concerns kind of came up again, because you could go right back to, I kind of wanted a single-player pirate experience, but with this shared world, how much of that am I going to get?
Right.
I totally get it that, my personal taste is not going to allow me to play every game in, the Megaverse, but it would be nice. That's all.
I want to agree with you on this. I think they created a game that is this pirate kind of search for loot exploit. There's a lot to this game, and what they showed us was a 5v5 competitive map.
Yep.
And I was
Yeah,
like, what a
they showed
weird
us was
thing to
basically-
show.
World of Warships,
Yeah, I don't know why they chose that. And maybe because it's the only thing that was ready. Maybe all they had were pirate ships and guns, and that was it.
probably.
But it was definitely they picked the wrong thing here, because I was hype. I was like, another pirate game where you can
Yeah.
do shit and it looks cool and
Yeah.
it's like Black Flag-ish. And they're like, and here's the competitive mode. I was like,
And it's like, what?
Hmm.
No.
And I get it. Okay, you're going to have those bits in it if you're going to do the whole shared world thing, but I want, because what you were really talking about was, be the pirate, be the career of the pirate. Well, if there's some sort of career of a pirate, then I expect a relatively lengthy single player component. But if you're gonna have an online shared world, this seems like it's gonna be like The Division, as in like this shit never ends, and also what you're gonna do when you hit max level.
Right.
We could do a sea shanty about that. What you're gonna do when you hit max level? Then probably grind for epic ship loot or something. I don't know.
There were so many shanties in that
There
damn
were
trailer
shanties.
too. Everyone was singing. They all had pirate tunes.
We
I
heard
was
some
ready.
shanties.
They even had betrayal. Everything was in that trailer. I was ready for this thing to be amazing. I was like, yes. And they're like, no, we'll show you 5v5. I was like, fuck you.
Yeah, that was the exact wrong thing to show. I'm hoping the single player component is significant and has a good amount of meat to it, because this game right here, this I can already play in several forms with like Age of Sail and Naval Action and Black Wake, and of course things like World of Warships in a different era. We get it, we've done the whole 5v5 kill ships thing. That's been done several times.
Yeah.
Show me what's in the single player. Show me what I'm going to be doing most of the time to progress my pirate career.
And no launching yourself out of a cannon in this one. I mean,
Ooh.
ooh.
Garbage game.
Yeah.
Okay, so that came out.
The next game was Starlink. Yo,
Starlink.
I don't know what
God.
the fuck this game was.
Plastic crap is what it is.
What was that about? Like,
What was the
Yes.
joke? It was No Man's Skylander.
No,
Oh,
the
joke
Skylanders,
here?
yes. We got that one. It's one of those augmented toys, smart toys kind of game. And that's how you put things in the game. But, my 12-year-old self would have said, oh, that looks amazing. My 32-year-old self says, this is a giant cash vampire and it's going to be hugely pay to win. Because we're talking about competitive multiplayer in a game where you have to buy plastic parts for your ships in order to get the stuff you want.
they like assemble on top of your controller and stuff.
That's
and
a
it's
weird
like,
one, yeah.
I'm like, I totally want to play with my controller and my ship sitting on top of my, like, what? No.
No, I don't want to do that at all. You'll have to get some little stand or dongle or whatever for it. They said it's going to be on Switch. It'll be on PlayStation. I think it's going to be available on consoles. I don't think there's going to be a PC release for it. There's been no sign of people trying to do that.
I want to hook up cheap plastic stuff to my PC. I don't know about y'all.
Actually, I can tell you exactly why they don't do it, because it'll be very easily hackable on
Yeah.
PC, I imagine. That's
Yeah.
probably why they haven't released Skylanders on that. RFID
true.
hacking already happens. It would be super easy to do on PC. It's a shame, because like, oh, cool, kind of shared universe space combat game. You can also go attack on the ground and do, take on big aliens and mechs and stuff. And then like, oh, plastic shit. That my interest went out of the window at that point.
I mean, even Dodger's taking a nap.
That's just cheating. If you have to endure this, so do we. Wait a minute, other way around. You get it. God, I'm losing it. Yeah, that was a bit of a shame. It's like it's new IP, but I'm immediately put off by the toy aspect.
It's like y'all
Yeah.
about a few years too late for this.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
weird to come in.
That's the thing that's weird to me is like, is this still a thing that's in major demand? Like, if
No.
people are into this, they're into Skylanders, right? They've already sunk tons of money and time into Skylanders. So
That, and I
is-
think parents also got really tired of the whole, hey, we got to choose between this and what was the one that Disney put out?
Disney Infinity.
Infinity,
Well,
yeah.
didn't that one
that's
tank
down.
pretty hard,
It
right?
did,
Yeah.
yeah. Some people went really hard into it at first, and then it's
Yeah.
just like, wait, hold up.
There's the
we were wrong.
there's the smart Lego stuff or the Lego
Yeah.
Dimensions, whatever.
And then
the
Skylanders
time
kept
may have
releasing
passed.
stuff out. Like, you had to buy, like, a whole new game and then all new characters. And I don't know. I got so tired of it. I was just like, I am
Yeah.
not buying you any more of these plastic whatsits.
Yeah, the time has passed on that.
It's like, we're on to amiibos now.
Yep. No, so don't care about that. Yeah, didn't Disney Infinity actually kill the Disney Games division? If I
it
recall
did.
correctly.
I'm pretty sure it did, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, screw
Where
that.
they're like, we're not making games anymore. We're not a game developer
Yeah.
anymore.
They may be aiming for a slightly older demo with this, saying, "Oh well, I bet there will be some 20-somethings that will be really interested in that." I'm just too skeptical and cynical of that model
I
to
doubt
care.
it. Yeah.
Cynical? You?
No. Hugely not.
After that was Far Cry?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. We finally saw a bit of gameplay, and to me, it was
A Far Cry
same old
game.
Far Cry.
There was a tower.
We all knew what it was going to be.
Yep, that we did.
So
We've
no
se-
surprises there, yeah.
No, we've seen like 6 story trailers for this thing.
They
the
took
gameplay.
the Far Cry primal mechanic of controlling pets and gave you like a dog.
Yep. And the dog will
You can have
fight
a
for
dog.
you.
It will. It'll pick up guns and bring them to you in its mouth.
Yep.
No bear protagonist. I didn't see any bears anyway.
No.
A Far Cry without a bear is
Ah,
kind of weird, though.
Are there bears in Montana? I'm not familiar with the place.
There are bears almost everywhere.
Again, I
Oh,
need
God.
to stress, what the fuck is the setup for this game? Because in what world can any of this happen without like police
said-
and
we've
or
said
military being
Apparently
like,
in Backwoods,
hi.
Montana.
We
Yeah,
said
what?
this before, and some people were trying to argue, oh, well, there was a situation kind of where it happens. Like, it's not the same. Like, in 2017, the National Guard would be rolling in within an hour of this shit going down. So,
yeah, it's a different world. Like cell phone, like the things they're referring to existed in times where there just wasn't a cell phone. Like you couldn't
Pretty
capture any of the
much, yeah.
footage. Like it's a different world. Like this
that
would
shit would
not
have been on
happen.
the internet immediately. Yeah.
Yeah.
You just have to suspend your disbelief. If it's a Far Cry game, I don't care about the realism of a Far Cry game, but I'm just done with Far Cry.
Right.
This new setting isn't going to make me come back and enjoy a Far Cry game. They've all been the same, and Primal in particular was just a huge step backwards.
I enjoyed Primal. I just, after so many hours, I was just like, there is nothing new going on here. I just can't.
No, there isn't.
Yeah.
So I'm not really, I don't really understand those that are excited about it, but I guess open world still sells,
Yes,
ultimately.
yes, it very much does.
People still like
I
open
I
world
like
games.
open world games. I do.
And then we got the biggest surprise. Beyond Good and Evil 2, which they said wasn't going to show up, and it did.
And they made it dirty.
Oh, yes, they did.
That monkey said fuck more times than a monkey should ever say fuck.
I would
Like,
agree.
Holy shit.
He was a foul-mouthed
Yeah, he was.
bastard. He was. The original Beyond Good and Evil, of course, was like a Peggy 7 rated game. Like, not foul language. They've gone full on. There's gonna be a ton of swearing in this now.
They went Deadpool.
They did.
They went Deadpool.
Yeah. The trailer laid that on a bit hard for me.
I think they did it on purpose.
It was a
if I'm
little too
honest.
much to the point where I was like, if I have to hear this monkey swear one more time, I'm gonna backhand the fucker. It was
This
just
coming from you is cute.
yeah, I know. It was like every 3 words he was swearing or whatever. He's an annoying little bastard. But what we didn't see any gameplay, but what we saw of the universe, like, yep, this looks thoroughly eclectic and weird, just like Beyond Good and Evil should be.
I am cautiously optimistic about this.
Mhm.
Beyond Good and Evil is a classic game, but I also am afraid people over time have like rose-colored glasses that game,
Yeah.
and
Oh, it
so
had problems.
because I haven't played it in a long time, but my memories of it is like, fuck, that was a great game. I'm afraid to go back to it, truthfully,
Mhm.
and
Don't blame you.
I'm considering that this game is a prequel, so there is no
Yeah,
Jade.
there's no Jade.
There is no world
And
that we
people
know.
are losing their shit over no Jade. They're like,
Yeah.
golden cow.
I
Oh crap.
I
So-
couldn't
so
give
this-
a toss about that.
There's so much room here to be awesome, but also to fall into that category of gamers expect X and they get Y, so they're furious.
Mhm.
I have no idea what this is going to be.
I could not care less about that kind of little cliffhangery ending. The game was 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let it go by this point. Can you even remember what happened? If you can, good on you. I fucking can't. All I know is the game was great, and we're getting another one in an interesting universe with a really fucking cool soundtrack, most likely.
Mhm.
Hopefully they bring back the fellow that was responsible, Christoph Herrell, who did an incredible soundtrack for the first one. One thing that did concern me a little, at the end they mentioned multiplayer. I mean, it's fucking
Why?
Ubisoft, so I don't know why I was
Why?
surprised, but it's like something with your friends, explore the galaxy. how is this gonna? Where are you going with
Right.
this then?
Yeah.
But I was
I
still
don't know what
glad to
this could
see
be.
it. No, and we got very little detail on that. I was glad to see it though.
Yeah.
That was a really cool way to cap off the conference. Surprisingly, not so cringeworthy.
Yeah.
Outside
no
of being-
dancing. Oh, actually,
There
we
was
did.
dancing.
We did get dancing.
Mm-hmm.
The Splinter Cell section.
The weird, like, why are these guys dressed as Sub-Zero and dancing to
Yeah.
Just Dance, and there was a panda that dabbed?
But they lit up
What?
to the beat of the
did see
music,
that
and I was kind of in. I was like, these robot men are actually color coded to the music.
And then someone
Like,
came out and
alright.
sang, and I'm like, I don't even know who you are, but okay,
I need
this
to
is
be
happening.
14 to
We
know.
had K-pop, and I was like, yes, Hyuna, yes. And then it was just like, it just got weird, and I'm just like, why?
They were constantly going to show Just Dance. It's Ubisoft. We got 3 minutes of that. We got a release date for South Park as well. Finally. which is
And
good.
now South Park on your phone.
Oh, yeah, they're doing a South Park mobile game. Couldn't care less about that. Not a bad conference, though. Like, I saw some stuff that was really interesting. So I liked it.
Mario versus Rabbids. That
Hey, that
that's
might be
it.
my
That-
game
that-
of the show.
I mean, that's all you needed. It's like, okay, it's like first 5
Super
minutes of
cool.
conference.
I'm
Okay, we done.
intrigued.
Bye.
I'm very intrigued for that for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe that that's gonna exist.
yeah,
I love that it's
it
going to
shouldn't
exist.
exist. It shouldn't happen. But it's going to, and it's going to be awesome by looks of it.
It does look great. Should we move on to the final conference that we watched? That being Sony. Sony. Usually a very big, grandiose, expensive affair. Last year, full orchestra, 2 hours of what was very enjoyable to watch, honestly.
I think we missed out. I had a bunch of friends who were actually at this conference, and they said there was like a full-on stage show going on, but we
Most of which we
watching at
didn't
home
see.
did not see the majority of it. Apparently,
Yeah.
So,
It was a lot shorter than I expected it to be. It was just under an hour, I believe. We expected more like 2.
This was the conference that gave me everything I wanted. I was so happy. Y'all don't even know. Like, it was just
Take us
this was
through
the
it,
Jesse
Jesse.
conference.
Jesse,
Indeed.
take us through it.
This was a beautiful moment for me. So it started with the new Uncharted. They did a little sitar number at the beginning, and then
Oh,
like
yeah.
waterfalls and shit. And then they were
That
like,
was nice.
"Hey, let's have the new Uncharted, our 2 female lead badass ladies Uncharted game." I was ready. I was so excited. I'm like,
Well, it's DLC, right? It's an expansion. It's not a new
yeah, the
game.
Lost Legacy, I think it is.
Yeah.
So it's a new little story bit, and I'm thrilled for it. So that was cool, but it's not something new. But still, I was like, it's what I wanted. And then the next thing, nothing new, but it was New Horizon Dawn. I was like, it's what I
Yeah.
wanted.
Well,
That
that's
was
the
so
good one.
weird. What a weird way to
Opening
open
it
a
with 2
conference.
DLC.
It's like, oh, so no new console announcement kind of thing, which we weren't expecting
That was never
but
gonna happen.
no, of course. But it was just like, all these other conferences before you. It's like, oh, here's our big thing, and you guys are like, we're
DLC.
Sony.
Got
We
some
don't
DLC.
fucking need to. We got some DLC.
Yeah.
Truthfully, if you were a fan of those 2 games, this was like the
Oh no, it's
We
what
got
you
you.
wanted. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
I actually didn't expect any DLC for Horizon so
quickly.
soon.
yeah.
That seemed oddly
funny-
quick.
The funny part is then after those 2 things, the guy came out and I think tooted their own horn about last year's E3. They did like a whole thing like last year we
Last
said
year
all
we
these
did
things were gonna come out,
this.
and they did. We were awesome, weren't we? It was pretty funny. I was like, all right. And then immediately after that, they were like, we're gonna show this crazy game where like some dude's hunting a T-Rex thing, and
Yeah, and it can't
it's
possibly
fucking
be
Monster
Hunter.
Wait. We skipped a pretty major part here, and that being Days Gone.
Oh,
that's right.
Gosh, yes.
Probably one of the longest gameplay segments of this conference.
Mhm.
And I'm going to be entirely frank about this. It bored the shit out of me.
You want to go play Dead Rising?
I do now after that. It's like,
I don't.
Let's hide. Let's.
Yeah, I don't. I still don't know. Yeah, I agree with you. I don't. It was extremely skippable. It was the only part that seemed
Scripted
interesting
as
was the
fuck.
zombie bear at the end.
yeah. Zombie
The
Mode
rest of it
Zombie.
was
This
like-
game last year, right?
Yeah.
This is the
well,
one last
this was
year
full
where the-
gameplay walkthrough.
Right.
Yeah, this is the one last year where the guy walked around and like snuck through most of it, and then at the very, very end, a giant zombie horde chased him for maybe 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Right.
Which I didn't really like the look of the last time I saw it, and this did not really make me believe otherwise. This, to me, was Sony the game. How many cinematic third-person action with stealth element games do we fucking have? I mean, the conference owned with 3. Uncharted is that. Horizon is that. This is that too. The first 3 games of the conference were all pretty much the same genre.
Mm-hmm.
But our QTE though.
When I mentioned earlier about Microsoft having a diverse lineup of really interesting games, to me, for Sony, this was the opposite of that. This was like, all of our major titles are the same kind of game.
Reskinned.
Well, I don't know the term reskin, but just very similar in terms of genre and ideas.
Kind of like how Ubisoft does the whole, hey, we're open world, lots of towers, lots of icons kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
This is Sony's thing.
Yeah, and hell, if Last of Us had been included in this conference, which was
Like,
conspicuous
what?
by
I mean,
its
just,
absence,
where did that go?
then that would have been yet another third-person cinematic action game with stealth elements.
Yeah.
Sony does a lot of these things. And
They sell.
well, the interesting thing is, like, look at, like, Sony's lineup this year so far. Exclusive, they've been killing it. Hugely fantastic set of games that have been relatively diverse in terms of what they've offered. Different genres, different kinds of characters, different settings. And then what they showed in this conference was a whole lot of the same fucking thing.
Highly scripted.
And men hanging from the ceiling during this segment. That was a little odd.
Yeah.
No, I got nothing out of the Days Gone footage at
No.
all. I don't want to play that.
Yeah.
But moving on to what you were about to say.
Monster Hunter.
Monster Hunter!
fucking-
There we go.
That was the craziest because at the first no one knew what it was and everyone was just like really confused, but all the tweets were like, is this Monster Hunter? Guys, is this Monster Hunter? And then when they found out like it's Monster Hunter, I was so happy I don't have to play it on 3DS anymore.
Oh my god.
Like, fuck.
you.
So
What a
happy.
Fantastic day.
Yep,
Yeah.
announced for PC as well, by the way. So that's cool. Yep, it's called Monster Hunter
World. isn't it?
World.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep, so a little
Super
bit of a
cool.
different art style. As in, you can see what's happening. Guess that's why I must even move the fucking thing off 3DS. We weren't sure that it was Monster Hunter until he started jumping on the monster. It's the runaway animation, actually, that revealed it was Monster Hunter. The very, like, oh, kind of running style away from the monster. Monsters fighting each other. Big, luscious-looking world. The roasting of meat.
Mm-hmm. And then another surprise.
Oh.
Shadow of the Colossus is back.
Yeah.
They're remaking it, and I'm excited, man. That's a game I played maybe 6 times, and I still will keep playing it every time. It's just a fun game. It's just super charming.
I'm going to be the dissenting opinion on this one.
Yeah.
What I love Shadow of the
Don't
Colossus.
do it.
And it's washed out
Look,
aesthetic.
Look, it's a remake of a remake, right? Which is taking the piss.
Not all of us played the remake for PS3.
But the problem that I've got with it is I think what they've done with the graphics and how they've remastered it has made the game look far more generic than it used to. Like, that washed out, stylized aesthetic of the original is gone. It just looks clean, too clean, even. And I'm not keen on that.
You want the grit back in, huh?
I do.
I don't know. I feel like as long as, because the thing that I really loved about Shadow of the Colossus is how alone you felt. And I don't think that necessarily the color palette was necessary for that. I think that
No.
just the kind of odd feeling of being in a game where you can go all over the place, but you never see anything else.
Mhm.
You know, that's what really lended to that feel. And that for me was like the most important part of it. So I'm kind of okay with this idea of it looking a bit more lush. And that almost maybe will make it feel weirder, right? Like, where are all the animals? Like, what the fuck? Why is there a lizard every now and then?
Mhm.
Yeah, I wasn't keen on it. There's always a risk with a remaster that you lose something that the original had.
Yeah.
We haven't seen much footage of it, but what I did see, I wasn't hugely excited about. Marvel, also known as what the fuck happened to Chun-Li's face? What on earth is going on with that?
The animation of that game is so jank. What is going on, yo? I can't even.
They announced that it was a story trailer. It's like, you can play it right now. You couldn't.
No.
It didn't go up last night at all. I don't know if it's. I don't know if the story demo's available now, but it wasn't last night when they said it was. Look at Chun-Li's face. What is wrong with?
Also, the proportion. Like, why is her head
Her
actually that
head
small?
is half the size that it should be. That is bizarre.
Yeah, all the eyes in that game are creepy. Everyone's eyes look just off. Something. It's crazy.
Yep. That
I was more excited for this to be over because of what came right after it.
which was.
You're going to
What was
get into
after
it,
that?
aren't you?
What was after this? There was it Call of Duty?
No. Actually, it must be after this. It must be after this.
I was gonna say you were not excited for Call of Duty.
No, I was not excited for Call of Duty. It must be after Call of Duty.
Are you talking about Moss, the best game that I saw there?
No, I really want to do that. I really want to play that one, but I'm talking about the addition to a game that's already out with your favorite boy band.
Final Fantasy 15.
Oh, Final Fantasy
you
Fishing.
mean Final Fantasy
Like
Fish Team?
Yeah.
Final Fantasy 15 fishing. VR fishing.
Yes. What?
That shit is so silly. I was
Let's
like,
just ignore
my
Call
boys.
of Duty completely
All
and
right.
look at VR fishing, shall we?
But I
Oh,
saw that and
so
I was just
silly.
like, what? What is this? Is this like just is this just DLC? What's happening here? And then
It's coming out in September, whatever it is.
it's just like, this is actually a thing.
Yeah.
Fishing with your boy band. Yeah.
Final Fantasy fishing.
I don't even know what to make of it.
No, me either. And I think it's great that it exists, but like I thought this is like what you would make as an April Fool's joke. Like I expect this to be on a website somewhere. It's like this is what we're gonna do,
This shit is real.
and it's real.
Yep, it even has a name. A kind of overly serious name that I can't quite remember
The trailer music was like the hardest rock fishing
Yes.
Yeah, fucking bass!
Yeah.
on fishing.
Monster
Like, okay.
of the Deep. September, yeah. That finally a killer app for VR that we've been truly waiting for. The audience just got completely bemused when they saw that. So what the fuck was that?
Like, I mean, I feel like fishing is like a relaxing activity, and fishing with angst for me, I don't know how that's gonna go.
Angsty boy band fishing.
Yeah. Oh, that even the fishing in the game as is like the most tense thing you've ever done fishing in any game ever.
Yeah.
The one thing is for certain though, fishing with Krendor will definitely get a lot more interesting.
I don't know if that's possible.
But other VR, there were two VR games I was super into. Moss.
Moss looks so cute.
It's the game with the mouse. Not that
Yeah,
the
the
VR game.
it doesn't really need to be VR considering it's a third-person platformer, but
Well,
okay.
I think it has the same mechanic as Beyond Two Souls, where like you play as like a ghosty dude and you manipulate the world to help him kind of like Toriko
Aw.
his way through the map. I think. is
Yeah,
what
I
the
think
game
you're
is.
right because there was that little blue thing that was floating around the place. It wasn't 100% clear how that played.
Because when you look down in the water, you see your face and you look like kind of like one of the guys from Journey, maybe.
Yeah. Mhm.
So I don't know what this game's about, but it looks really cool. And then the prequel to Until Dawn, The Inpatient, is a VR game.
Yeah,
I'm
Supermassive
ready
is
for
doing
that.
a couple of
That's gonna be
those.
so cool.
They did that kind of generic-looking military shooter, and then they showed that, which
That's right.
looked a lot more interesting.
Military shooter, blah.
Yeah, and
Moving on. Yeah.
there's that bloody Star Child thing, which was a 2D platformer for VR that I cannot, for the life of me, understand why that exists.
Yeah.
Really weird choice to showcase VR. Then Dad of War.
Dad of War
Dad
came
of
and it was great. Dad of War was exactly what I wanted.
Over
I
the camera, third person.
I'm pretty sure he starts Ragnarok. I think that's the premise of this game. I can't figure it out why that would happen, but F it. I don't care anymore. This plot line of this franchise never made sense. It still doesn't. It got wackier as it went on. I'm in. F it. He's in Norse mythology now. Okay.
Sure, why not?
Yeah.
Got a lot more excited about it because it seemed like the footage, they'd originally said the game was going to be stuck at 30, and now it's not, apparently. They might be running at 60, which is great for an action game. 30 FPS action games suck. So, looking forward to this. Not a lot of gameplay shown, but bear in mind there was an hour-long presentation of God of War at the E3 Coliseum, so it's not as if that wasn't covered. Plus, last year we got a ton of gameplay anyway.
We got
so
a ton last year too. Yeah.
Yeah.
we absolutely did. So, just a bit more story, a little bit more action. Still looking good. I'm not 100% convinced about the combat system yet with that over-the-shoulder view.
Yeah, that
We'll
just
have to see how it plays.
Seems weird to me, but
Little bit soulsy for my liking. We'll see. It certainly looks good though, no doubt.
and that was the last game of the conference, right?
No, it was not.
False.
Okay.
Wrong.
Oh,
False.
that's right.
There were
were
two other
several.
games. Two great
Yeah.
games. Two perfect
Right.
games.
Right?
Were they amazing? Were they
Right.
perfect?
Perfect.
Detroit,
Don't agree on that one, but
David Cage is a golden god.
Yeah,
There's nothing
yeah.
wrong with that game.
I am looking
Perfect.
forward to Detroit.
Perfect
I
game.
am.
sure.
The aesthetic, I'm not 100% on board with, I guess. I mean, it's
yeah.
different, so why not give it a chance? But yeah, I'm down with David Cage. Yes. Yes.
I'm
You're
waiting
down
for the
with
twist.
the cage.
You know, at the
I
end, it's gonna be
am.
like the androids were really demons. Like, you know, that shit's gonna be, it's happening. Like, every android is an interdimensional demon in it, trapped in a body. It's gonna happen. Shit's gonna get weird in that game, and I can't wait. And then, even though, I'm gonna say this right now, even though it was all QTE nonsense,
Oh, Spider-Man.
Spidey.
I don't give a
Spider-Man.
fuck. That Spider-Man trailer was so cool. It was fun to watch. It might be all garbage, but man, was it fun to watch Spider-Man. That was super cool. I don't care. Dude, when he was like,
I would love another good Spider-Man game.
it really truthfully is Arkham Spider-Man.
Yeah.
It is absolutely Arkham.
But it was entertaining as hell. I don't care. I was like, it's not very innovative, but man, it was super entertaining to watch.
I'll agree with you that it was fun to watch, and it did look like the web swinging and building wall running looked really smooth, very natural, the way that it should have. And people screwed the swinging up in many, many of these games. This looked a lot better. I'm not an aficionado of Spider-Man 2, the one that everyone says was the best in that regard, so I don't know exactly how good it is compared to that, but it looked good from where I was sitting. The rest of the game, though, the combat looked very Arkham. The massive emphasis on scripted events and QTEs put me right off. I don't want to play that.
Yeah.
I'll watch it. You're right, it was fun to watch.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping there will not be a lot of that, and I want to know what you do on the regular.
That's a very good point. What do you
Did
do
he
when
just
you're not?
ruin it for you, Jesse?
I mean, you did. When you're not
So what
not
I'm here for.
going through amazing scenes where you're like hanging on to helicopters and keeping parts of buildings from flying off and killing people. What do
What
you
are
do in that
doing?
game?
Yeah.
What is
How dare you ruin this for
day-to-day?
me? I was
What's
so
the
excited. I was
day-to-day?
like, oh.
of your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man?
I think you've done your job. You've ruined Jesse Cox's gameplay experience.
Good. Well,
Dude, I still think that this looks super fun regardless.
It does. It looks super cool. Here's the thing. Even if I don't play it, I'm gonna end up watching someone play it because it looks
sure.
like an entertaining ride no matter what. So
I'm just over open world games at this point. So we'll see. If they make the flying around the city doing things interesting, great. If not, and if they're overly reliant on the cinematic scripted moments, then that is a disappointment. Swinging does look pretty cool, though. I'll give them that.
Yeah.
There was a lot of cool stuff going on with that wall running. Wonder how much control you have over that and how much of it's just kind of done automatically for you. That was where it wrapped up.
Yep. Very clinical Sony conference.
yeah, I mean, I don't know if you want to hit on like the one or two things from Nintendo, but really, truthfully, it was all stuff we knew was going to happen, except for Metroid. There's a new Metroid coming.
and some sort of Pokemon RPG. They didn't specifically say mainline Pokemon game for Switch. They did say Pokemon RPG, not a spin-off, really, of some sort. That probably means we're bringing Mystery Dungeon to it instead, which wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing.
New name for the Creator Cave.
It's the Metroid...
Mystery Dungeon.
So they announced two Metroid games. They only showed gameplay of one of them. There was a DS game that was a side-scroller. They announced Metroid Prime 4, but showed no gameplay. And they announced that Pokemon game and showed no gameplay. So anyone
really
that turns around and
enjoyed
says,
the Mario
Nintendo won
trailer.
E3 on the basis of shit they didn't show can go fuck themselves. You fanboy idiots. I'm sorry. No. Absolutely not. You don't
The
get to
Mario
have
trailer was
40
great.
seconds of a 4 on the screen and claim that wins the show.
I just want another Pokemon Snap game, man.
Oh
Yeah,
man, yes.
One day.
I remember playing that. That was a good. That was a good time.
It was a great game.
I love playing that game.
Give me new Pokemon Snap. Anyway.
So that was the E3 conference. Now there weren't really any big announcements during the PC gaming show, so we kind of didn't cover that, although there was some cool games. And the Killing Floor Carnival event starts today. We've got to get involved in that. Go kill some zombie clowns. So let's go around the room and say, well, okay, what were your highlights of the show game-wise? And which was the best conference in your opinion? Jesse, what were like your top 3 games of the show? Let's throw that out there.
Top games, I think new games. I'm excited to see the I think Moss looks really entertaining. I think Wolfenstein will be great. I am really looking forward to that crazy VR game from Ubisoft. I don't even know what the hell that's going to be, but it's live action, so that seems cool. And I think, you know, I'm trying to remember what the damn name of that I wrote it down the other day too. Doesn't matter. There's a bunch of games I liked. And I think the best conference, I might have to give it to Ubisoft on this one, which is weird to say, but I think I might have to do that. I think they were all pretty lackluster, but I think Ubisoft had things that caught me by surprise, and I was like, oh, all right.
Sure.
And because I was expecting it to be garbage, honestly, so I'll give it to them.
Yeah, they definitely low expectations and better results, better than expected. To me, the best conference was Microsoft. Certainly, like I said, huge, diverse lineup of cool-looking shit versus Sony that showed a metric fuck ton of the same kind of game.
Oh, Ori 2 was one of them. And now I'm just going to remember games that I want to play. I'm just going to be quiet.
Games of the show, that Rabbids X Mario probably for me was just the biggest surprise pleasantly. I really want to play that now. That will get me to get a Switch. That looked great. And there was some other, really cool stuff like The Last Night just looks amazing. That looks absolutely stunning visually. Shadow of War looks great. We already knew it did.
Yeah.
And Wolfenstein 2, of course. Absolutely. That looked awesome. Jen, what do you reckon?
Well, we even talked about this on our Snarkathon.
A lot of people haven't seen it yet.
Yeah,
so
true,
repeat yourself.
Because I finished cutting it this morning.
Hey, besides, you may have changed your mind since then.
No, for me, I still think conference of the show was Microsoft, just from the sheer amount of games that were shown. For me, probably top games, Wolfenstein. I'm still not entirely 100% if I'll be able to see everything properly in Mario Cross with Rabbids.
I'm hoping. It's a turn-based game. I think you should be fine with that.
Yeah, I should be okay with it. It's just sometimes with those games you can't quite tell until you get into them.
Yeah, we didn't mention Metro Exodus or Way Out, but those both were very interesting to us.
Metro, I'm trying to think. There's so many games. There's just so many games that we saw. I don't know. I'm curious to see what they're going to do with Anthem, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
I want to know more.
Definitely. That did look intriguing, but we know how those kind of games play out.
Yeah.
We've seen and played The Division and Destiny, and this is very much down those lines. Can they fix the problems that those games had? Can they do it better? If so, cool. Dodger, I know you didn't really watch many of the conferences, but based on what you've heard and seen during the show, anything that kind of grabs your eye?
The ones that I was like surprised by are like Dragon Ball FighterZ. As a Dragon Ball fan and a person who loves watching Guilty Gear, I'm excited to play that. I'm excited to have Monster Hunter World on PC and be able to play that. That indie rock and roll game.
Yeah, the Artful Escape or whatever it was. Yeah.
Yeah, that one looks super fun. I don't know. It looks like there's some cool stuff. Like, I never played Beyond Good and Evil, so seeing footage of Beyond Good and Evil 2 makes me be like, oh, I wonder if Beyond Good and Evil would be a fun game to play now, or if it hasn't aged very well, and maybe I should just play
It's
2.
okay. You can grab it on GOG, and I think you'd enjoy it.
Yeah.
You should get along with it pretty well.
But in terms of like which lineups, seemed like they were most along the lines of my sensibilities. Definitely Ubisoft and Sony, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I like that Microsoft had so much, that there was such a big variety of things to look forward to. So that's a surprise for me.
Yeah, you don't necessarily expect, especially considering we laughed at when he said we have a diverse lineup at the start. I'm like, no, you don't. It's Xbox, and by then it's like, oh, all right, okay, we were wrong. You
just
did.
Kidding.
Yeah, all right, you definitely did. You brought it in that respect. But I think we probably echo many of the sentiments of people that this was not a mind-blowing E3. This was maybe an off-year E3. Because, of course, no major hardware announcements, no major service announcements, or any major changes to that. It's just games.
Mhm.
Which is fine.
Except for Devolver. That wasn't games.
I don't know what Devolver was.
It was Adult Swim. That's what I hear.
Yeah.
All I'm saying,
Best conference.
just watch it. I'm not going to tell you anything more about it. It's only 20 minutes. Just watch it. You must experience what we have experienced.
Yes.
Great.
Only then can we continue the podcast as brothers. All right. That's us about done, folks, for the co-optional E3 wrap-up. Jesse, you're heading back to the floor, I believe, over the next couple of days.
Yep, that's the plan. So that's where I'll be. But there will be Scary Game Squad coming out for Little Nightmares over the next couple of days. So enjoy that nonsense. But,
Oh my
other
God.
than that,
Yeah, that was another announcement. Little Nightmares
right.
is going to get a TV show.
Yeah, that's so weird, but cool.
I don't know.
Because that game doesn't really have like a story.
Right?
It was like an experimental game with just lots of different types of monsters in it that was designed to make you uncomfortable. So I'm like, I wonder what they're going to do.
Yeah.
Anyways.
That sounds like an interesting blank canvas to work from then. I'm intrigued.
Yeah. Anyways, sorry, Jesse.
no,
I got
that's
excited.
it. I mean, that's where I'll be. I'll be on the show floor. I'll probably have stuff to talk about next week, I think. Maybe.
Yep, it'll be interesting to hear what you're able to get hands on with and what ended up turning out great and what didn't.
Yep.
Be good to know. As for us, we are quite done with talking about E3, thank you very much. We've had enough of that over the last 4 days. Speaking of which, if you missed the Sony Snarkathon, Supercut is coming up right after this live broadcast. That'll be live on youtube.com/CynicalBrit. If you missed any of the other Supercuts and our opinions on that show, they're all already there over at youtube.com/CynicalBrit. You can watch them all. That'll be all there is content-wise this week. Don't expect anything else on our channel. And as for Dodger, you're a little busy.
I am a little busy. I'm getting married in like a little over a week.
Yay!
Yay! So I'm very excited about that. I'm in England right now. So right after this, I'm going to fucking crash and fall
Go to
asleep.
bed, yeah.
Yeah, there isn't very much going up on YouTube, but Sam and I have been alternating days to stream. So if you're around when we stream, we would, of course, appreciate the support right now. And yeah, most of my focus, understandably, I think, is
I would say so.
on wedding shit right now. Yeah, but
Yeah, I would think so.
yeah.
Very cool. Well, big thanks to everyone who supported the streams over the last 4 days. We broke our concurrent viewer record for Snarkathon, which was awesome. So,
Second time in 2 years that's happened.
yeah, big thanks to everyone who supported us. You got us up to almost half a lyric, so well done. Thank you. Very, very happy about that. As to what's going to be happening on Co-optional next week, we're back same time, same place, same channel, hopefully stable at Twitch. Not that we can ever promise that. But we are going to be welcoming our guest for the show, which will be Jeff Kanata of the DLC podcast and many other podcasts besides. Also in the background of many television shows and a lot of commercials, actually, in the United States. So you may recognize the face. Jeff Kanata will be joining us. Sort of a cultural exchange program. I went on DLC. He's going to come onto our show. I'm very much looking forward to that. And that pretty much wraps us up. So very huge, big thank you for watching everything with us and enduring the bullshit alongside us. That is E3. Cool. Thank you very much for watching. Dodger, go to bed. Jesse, do whatever it is you do. I've never fully understood that. I'm gonna get something to eat. You've been
Can
watching the
do.
Corruptional Podcast. E3
Bye-bye.
Post-Mortem Edition. We're done. Thank you. Goodbye.